Ninten running the Kingdom Hearts 2 Critical Any Percent. Take it away, Ninten.
Hello, everyone. We're playing Kingdom Hearts 2 today. My name is Ninten, and let's just get started. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo! Good luck, Ninten.
I'm joined by these lovely commentators.
Yes, hi, I'm Jhobz.
I'm Thar.
And I'm SpikeVegeta. Hooray! Yay! Yay!
All right. This is actually my favorite category of this game, so I'm really excited to be showing it off here. We're just starting out here in Roxas Road. This is like the tutorial section of the video game here. And the RNG is actually set when you start the game. So we're able to RNG manipulate the first couple fights here. So we'll be doing very particular combos on the first fights coming up.
Yeah, Ninten picking up the struggle bat to increase the strength by 1 there as well, which really does help.
Yep.
Yeah, that 1 strength difference actually makes a huge difference in this game.
Yeah, permanent stat increase. So again, like Ninten said, he's going to be RNG manipulating right here, doing an exact combo on Cypher, so he can keep this RNG manipulation going a few more minutes into the run.
Yeah, so all these combos is like, it's one, just a good way to beat the boss quickly, or, boss, the little tutorial quickly, but also is going to continue manipulating that RNG.
Basically, the RNG changes based on enemy action, and the enemy action is based on what we do to the enemy, so how we hit them and how we let them respond.
Yeah, and as you noticed there, I was actually doing air hits at the end, so we'll be opting to do air combos whenever we can. It's actually really hard to do them as Roxas because he's a bit heavier than Sora, but they are faster than ground combos. The animation's just quicker.
This is one of the biggest reasons we do the RNG minute. Look how fast.
Yep.
And in case you were worried that critical was going to be any easier than level, only slightly.
Ninten's just going to do 2 empty hits, 1 empty hit, and a full combo here. By empty hit, we mean not completing the combo, just doing the first 2 hits of the combo.
Yeah, so doing the empty hits is because the finisher, the ending of the combo, knocks away the enemies. And we don't want that because then we have to chase them down.
Yeah.
So we'll be trying to end the enemy with the last hit of our combo if we can.
Yeah, especially Dusks. They love to just kind of move around all wildly, and that finisher does a lot of damage. It's really good, but it is not worth the time it would take to go chase him back down after you knock him away.
Yeah, so this is battle delivery. We have to do a job and then talk to Hainer. We actually don't have to do that many jobs. We just have to do one of them. And as long as we do well enough in this minigame, then we can go talk to Hainer and finish up.
Sub 7, always nice.
Yeah, that is not easy to do that in under 7 seconds, because there's a lot of, you don't want to just press triangle to deliver a piece of mail while you're just on the ground, because then all of a sudden there's a ton of lag coming out of that. So Ninten was always trying to jump when he is delivering the mail and as he's landing out of it. Yeah, it's very Tony Hawk, very good.
So now
this is almost a Tony Hawk block. Sorry, keep going.
Now we're entering day 3. We promised there's going to be a lot of action in this run, and you're going to start to see it on this day when we fight our first boss. Actually, one of the more challenging fights in the run, but we'll get to that there. But another section of RNG manip. To progress this, we're just going to do 10 hits on the Dusk. As you can see, we are not doing any damage to it, but our hits are still counting towards the progression. Nice. And there we go.
That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, so we did the reverse RC there. We'll be doing that throughout Roxas Road because it stuns the Dusks. So let's just get free hits in.
Yeah, Ninten picked up the shield there as well, the Dream Shield, which affects the ability routing throughout the game. So as you level up, which abilities you unlock, that is determined by which Dream weapon you pick, and the shield is going to be very helpful. There is a sword route for critical as well, but the shield has a lot of varied tech to it that Ninten wanted to show off.
Yeah, shield route is just really safe. That was
you also get once more, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be getting a lot of abilities that will be very useful later on, especially on critical mode. So that was a Dusk fight right there. We're heading into our first actual boss fight, which is Twilight Thorn. It's actually a really tough fight.
Right here in this menu, Ninten is applying all of these bonus. Was that no experience or anything?
Almost.
You put it on and then took it off. Yeah.
Okay, I was very sure. But all of those abilities that you just saw Ninten start with there, those are bonuses that come from starting on critical mode difficulty. So Square's idea of kind of balancing critical mode, which was added to the Final Mix version, was to say it's going to be really, really hard. You're going to die very, very easily, 1-2 shot everywhere. But we're also going to give you a couple of niceties up front, like a finishing plus, allowing you to do back-to-back finishing hits, which are your most powerful attacks pretty much across the board. Stuff like draw, reaction boost. We'll get into those as the fights kind of apply to them. But yeah, a lot of cool bonuses right there.
You also deal a little more damage on critical mode than you do on standard. Beginner does even more, but critical also gets a nice little damage buff.
So I like to fit around with the menu My apologies.
Yep. It's just how we make the time
Runner
go back
had it,
quicker.
yeah.
This is like the big introduction to reaction commands. So every time you see one of those triangle prompts pop up on screen, Ninten using, mashing triangle and hitting one of those. We're going to use those a lot throughout the run. I think a lot of people remember this game as mash X and triangle, but we are not going to use them in that kind of fashion. Like
Right.
Absolutely.
they are
They're
very
all planned and
specifically
calculated.
used. Yeah. In this fight, though, for the opening, there's not much you can do besides use them. And then after this animation here, we're going to have Ninten actually getting into kind of the difficult part of this.
Yeah, so we're trying to get 4 air combos and maybe an extra hit at the end of it when he's knocked down here. So he's stunned for a certain period of time. And like I said, air combos are really hard to do as Roxas, so it's quite difficult to get these air combos in. Yeah, all right, that's good. 4 air combos.
That's good. That's good.
Yep. We're still in a good spot.
Yeah.
Kill this boss in time, even though we missed that extra hit.
Jump with that double finisher that is due to that finishing plus Spike was talking about. Ninten knocks the Dusks away because they can absolutely get in the way, and then he's listening for an audio cue to dodge them here. A little bit of an empty hit there so that this finisher finishes off the boss.
And don't let that fight fool you. Ninten just absolutely schooled that fight, but that is a very challenging fight to learn, and it's the first major fight in the game.
And not only was Ninten beating the boss there, but also knew to actually kill the creeper. That spawned as well for the extra experience.
Yeah, so that experience actually matters. The experience route in this game is pretty important to stick to, so we'll be trying to hit certain level thresholds throughout the game. And one of them actually coming up at the end of Roxas Road.
Yeah, that's like, what, 2 experience or something? Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe 4, and it's absolutely worth paying attention to.
So now we get the struggle fights right here. Yep, all of these you need to, ideally you can last the entire minute, or you can just get all 200 of the orbs and finish it instantly. So you can see Ninten getting a really good corner strat right there. 46 is a very good time.
Hainer is really hard.
Yeah, Hainer is unironically one of the hardest fights in the early game.
And we see another one of those critical abilities that we were given at the start of the game made use there. Draw. Draw basically sucks in any items that enemies drops. In this case, struggle orbs, but later in the game, HP orbs, MP orbs, money. Basically means you don't have to walk right on top of them to get them, which makes these struggle fights very fast in critical mode.
Yeah, and on VV here, it's going to be a little bit different than Hainer because we're actually going to knock VV down. We can't see their health yet, but we're going to see it soon. But we were able to get VV to 0 health there and knock it down.
42 flat. You don't see that very often.
And even right there, the one spot where Ninten got, you might have thought that was a mistake. That was actually intentional because of how draw works with it. It's better to just take that one hint and you can keep all the orbs clustered up. It works really well. So now Ninten's going to be using a lot of those empty hits, like we said, not using the finishers unless he can actually project it pretty well. That was good.
Good fight.
Yeah, so that's another fight there. When we fight multiple ducks, we're trying to hit multiple of them at the same time because save some time on getting extra hits.
Chat, can I get a got it memorized?
So here we're going to be beating Axel with 6 air combos. You have to dodge his attack right there. We don't have guard equipped yet, so it's actually really hard to dodge that. Then get in that combo right there.
Good fight.
Good adjustment on the empty hits there, too.
Yeah.
It's very easy to drop a combo while playing as
Yeah.
Roxas, and if you do, you have to be able to, on the fly, adjust to it.
Yeah, Ninten's also one of the best runners out there for games like Kingdom Hearts 1 as well, where jump combos
thanks.
are the king. No problem. But yeah, where jump combos are the king. So you have to get really, really good at getting those little micro jumps and then getting an entire combo out.
Yeah.
Ninten intentionally losing there because you have the option to either win or lose. You get a better prize from losing, which is the medal, an accessory that gives us 1 more strength, which, as we said before, 1 of any stat, especially strength in this game, makes a big difference.
Yeah, so this game is like action RPG. The RPG elements definitely come into play a lot in the speedrun. You have to pay attention to a lot of our stats and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like casually it's more action and some
Yes,
RPG,
right.
whereas in the speedrun it is equal parts both.
So because we have that medal, Dusks are going to get a little more HP since the battle level is going to rise on this day, but we are able to kill them in 1 less hit. So they will technically still have similar HP as they've had in the past few days.
Yeah, so right there I put on guard and scan. We can finally start seeing the HP as Thar mentioned. And we also have guard, which is going to be very useful.
Yeah, we're gonna have a few sections here where Ninten has to go basically take care of a couple mini games. But this is a good time to get to the basics of the video game. If you've never seen Kingdom Hearts before and you're like, what's this weird thing in the bottom left corner that says attack and items and all that? It's kind of like your JRPG menu. In this game, it is an action RPG, but you actually decide what your character is going to do by selecting it from the menu in real time. And you have to do that with the D-pad. So there's a lot of strategies and a lot of situations, especially later on in the run as Ninten has more mechanics available, where he has to do menuing in mid-fight, like to be able to pull off strats.
In the middle of your combos and everything. Another very difficult fight right here.
Yeah, so right here they react to where the VB clones spawn and their attacks. So whenever they spawn, they always do a hop, and then I can catch them at the end of their hop.
They are being so mean, too.
Yeah, just that spawns there.
That was a really nice recovery. Rough
it was
start
handled well.
getting hit, but Ninten played that very well.
Yeah, it was definitely handled well. It was just absolutely rough spawns at the beginning.
Yeah, that's pretty much really the only major RNG section of Roxas, the Roxas prologue section.
Yeah, believe it or not, this Roxas section is actually one of the hardest splits in the whole game. It's like one of the hardest segments, so...
Like, Hainer in particular is so difficult. As somebody who learned this game not too long ago, it was like, I spent so long on Hainer. And then this, fight here is a perfect example of how hard it is to do combos low to the ground, because you're fighting Shadow Roxas, who has your hitbox, effectively, which is extremely low.
And Roxas, in general, is just scuffed, his hitbox included. To do those combos properly, you got to do your first hit and really delay your second hit. Otherwise, you're just going to go right past his right ear.
Yeah.
He's going to hit you back, and you're going to have a bad
It looks like nothing, but go boot up the game, get to that point,
You will just whiff over
is
his
so
head for minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to make sure that you time your combos very precisely. So for most of the combos in the game, I will be timing it.
But with that, I think we've hit our first stretch here. We're going to take a little bit of a breather. It's so cool how fast Kingdom Hearts runs are nowadays, especially with all the faster load times. Let's kick it over for some donations for about a minute or so.
Oh, heck yeah. We have so much love for the runner here. We have a $50 donation from Spacey L1 and
that's
Tragic
Spacey.
Huey. You got this, Ninten. Super excited to catch Kingdom Hearts 2 live. We have another $50 donation from MDLATQP. Made history multiple ways today. 50 million, PV's world record, performance-enhancing cheese, the prize wizard restoring the timeline. What a Thursday. Can't wait for more. Everyone's amazing. I love you all. Less than 3.
I missed something when I went to dinner. There was one of those things in the middle there was not like the others.
Tonight has been a journey.
You still have some time.
Yeah, you got a little bit of time here.
We have a $25 donation from Crazy Comics. Hi, Ninten.
Hey, Crazy.
Jhobz and Spike. Crazy Comics from the Kingdom Hearts 2 rando community. It's strange to not see Trinity Fire or Limit Form in simulated Twilight Town. Not only has it been an honor to race you all in a new way to play this incredible game, but it's been cool to get to know y'all through it. Shout outs to the wonderful Kingdom Hearts 2 rando community and all the other amazing friends I've made through it. Love y'all, and may your hearts be your guiding key.
I feel so much better that we were not the first ones to bring up the rando.
Yeah.
I know.
Cage2 Rando is amazing, though.
It's a great rando,
If you even just enjoy this game casually, go to cage2rando.com and try out the randomizer, because there's so much that you can do to make it accessible for people who do not speedrun.
Yeah.
Unbelievably
And
fun.
with that, we're back into the action here. And after we get rid of these 2 ducks, we're going to find our first assassin. These enemies are actually very tough. Later on, they're going to be pretty scary because they can one-shot you. Getting hit there is fine. Just get them. They take actually the same amount of hits as the ducks.
And then we have to run back over to the mansion and go through just 2 more fights before the end of the Roxas section.
Yep, and we get control Sora, and we get to start playing the game.
Play the video game?
Well, we actually get
some
to
fun.
see, coming up in the next 15 or so minutes, we'll get to see the first look of the costume bid war.
Oh, that's
winner.
true.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot we don't get to see that in the Roxas section.
No.
The Sora section.
I looked up, it had the Nickelodeon bid war there. I was like, are we playing as Danny Phantom? Honestly, there's some pretty good mods for Sora, so yeah. Honestly.
Hey, Cage2 Rando modders. Make a Danny Phantom mod now.
Yo, can I play as Garfield?
I
That would be
love
sick.
I would love that.
You had to will that into the world, huh?
They're already working on it. By the end of the run, it's going to be available.
So we don't have much in the way of movement options right now. You've been seeing Ninten use a whole bunch of like skateboards and stuff. And this game is definitely much more about the combat. Like the combat is the bread and butter of it. But Spike always likes to describe it as kind of the side dish. You have the movement as side dish. So I love little things like that where you hop over
we'll be hopping over here right here.
Yeah, and then jumping over a corner here to get around. There's a lot of spots where you want to make sure that you are minimizing the amount of times you are like jumping and then landing somewhere, because that landing causes you to kind of freeze in place for just a few frames, like just a moment before you start walking again. So that's why like Ninten even back there jumped after landing to go right into the doorway to get rid of that little landing animation.
Yep, so here's the last mob fight, I would like to call it, where we fight 4 dusks. And we're going to be fighting more enemies after we get rid of 3 dusks. So a pattern that happens in this game is that whenever there are multiple waves of enemies, the next wave will spawn after you defeat a certain amount of the previous wave. So right there, we're going to watch out for the assassin spawn. They always attack when they spawn. And then after getting rid of the first assassin, we get rid of the dusk. And then we just have this last one left.
Good fight.
Nicely done.
There we go. Heading into Axel 2 here, this fight is mostly like scripted in terms of how we're going to handle it in a speed run, but things can easily go wrong, and if they do, Ninten's going to have to react. And that's a lot of fights in this run, basically.
Right. But you're really seeing a nice buff here from having that finishing plus, extending those combos and doing big damage. And now we get that reaction boost where you press triangle, bring, there goes a lot of health right there. And all of a sudden, see ya, Axel.
Very nice. That's pretty much the end of Roxas World. Just going to walk through the next door.
That fight is one of the examples of the fight in the critical mode run that actually is faster in critical mode compared to the other categories. In this case,
the reaction boost makes such a huge difference.
As well
reaction
as
boost, finishing plus. And same with like taking the struggle fights in general. Like all the struggle fights, I think, are faster on critical mode as well.
Oh yeah,
as a result.
So we got our first big menu here. A lot of things happening in this menu.
That's just beautiful menus.
That's so good. It's so good. I love menus in this game, man. They're so crisp.
This game is so responsive with the inputs and menuing. I love it.
Ninten did a few things there. Mostly took the items from his party members, which he's going to do a lot because items are very useful, just like in any RPG speedrun. And also took Donald Cure off, I believe, to make sure that he can actually take enough damage in this next fight a lot faster.
Yeah, so the party member AI is something that we change a couple times throughout the run. Right now, we're just making it so that they attack all the enemies that we're not attacking. And we'll be messing with their settings every now and then. So this fight is another fight that we can actually lose the fight and it'll progress the game. There's a couple fights like this.
Oh, nice. Good
nice.
That's the move we want to see from the dusk, the upside down walk.
There's actually a good name for that. What was it?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah. No.
You know,
it was just
no, there
upside down walk.
Yeah, totally
upside down walk.
Yeah. Mess me up, something, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to another fight where you can die, and this time it's against shadows, which are slightly more annoying because sometimes they just will decide not to attack you.
This one's like, it's one of those where it's almost runner preference on whether you decide to fight this fight out or take the hits.
Right.
Sometimes they act how you want them to, and other times they don't. But it takes 3 hits.
I will tell you, in my time running critical mode, I can't tell you the amount of times where Donald actually finished the fight for me. I was trying to. No. Donald will literally, like, I try to die, and he will just thunder all the shadows and just win the fight for me.
It's a theme in this game that your party members always do the opposite of what you want them to do.
Right. Because there's a lot of times in Kingdom Hearts speedrunning where you want them to just do nothing.
Yeah.
Genuinely don't. Because then at least that keeps the fight consistent and locked down. Here, though, we'd like to see Donald using that thunder, getting a Zeus on.
That was a really good
that
was an insane first wave.
We are the only people who play this game in the entire world who don't want Donald to cure them.
Right. We took it off.
Yeah, so the shadows actually are interesting because...
Good finish. That was nice.
Donald!
Guys, that was an incredible first tower fight.
Yeah.
That fight is notoriously annoying for speedrunners because of the RNG of shadows.
But Ninten, you were saying about
so the shadows, as you can see, they go underground, and that's terrible because you have to wait for them to come back up. But they actually have a frame where they're vulnerable. And so what happened there is I was able to catch them with a really well-timed Keyblade swing as they come out of the ground with that one frame. So it's a very tight... it's very tight to catch them.
Yeah, we're not going to have to deal with shadows too long in this run. Like, they're not... You're not dealing with them absolutely forever, but there definitely are going to be more. And thankfully, we're going to get some... the triple.
And the goofy assist at the end.
Let's go.
That was an unreal tower.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Just to finish that thought, thankfully we're going to be able to, we're going to have more ways of dealing with shadows going underground.
You didn't even give us time to talk about how that fight worked. You just played it so well.
Yeah. Quick kill there gets you just a little bit more experience and tiny bit of money.
Again, the EXP routing is very, very tight here. A number I always look for is seeing if he'll reach level 8, which has a strength and a magic increase on it at a certain point in Land of Dragons. We'll see when it pops up there. And you'll see he'll barely get it.
So here is the incentive that y'all donated for.
Yeah.
Timeless River Sora.
Timeless River Sora, the model that was never supposed to have color to it.
It now has color.
Yeah. I don't remember, is this colored in the game normally or somebody colorized it?
No, I think somebody actually colorized it.
Oh, okay.
It was made by Jacob, actually, so huge shout out to Jacob.
Nice. Gonna head over to Hollow Bastion here. Now at the top of the tower, we got access to the first of several drive forms that we'll be getting in the run. These are, they're kind of like a weird fusion kind of thing where basically you take the power of a party member, you can see Goofy's gone now, in order to change your form. And we're getting a Timeless River Valor form here, which is very nice.
It actually looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks sick.
The drip on it's really good.
Really cool.
So in this world, we use Valor form not just for movement, but also for fights. You'll see that you're able to kill enemies a lot faster because you have 2 Keyblades, a lot new abilities with the dual-wielding Keyblades. And this is a fight that actually you can lose and you can die to, which the level 1 category does. But critical mode, as I was saying, is so tight on experience that we need the experience from this fight to be able to go faster later on in the run.
Yeah, and that was our first look at the assassins. We'll be seeing a lot of them in the fight coming up here as well. Oh, Samurai, yes.
Had to whoop for the little over the horizon.
Over the horizon.
Yeah, whoop. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a Canadian maple leaf.
I thought I was gonna make the same commentary. Let's go. This is why we work together. I was gonna say.
I thought it was a Canadian maple leaf on his shoulder.
I was gonna wait for the next Valor form use to bring that up. He was like, did anybody else see the Canadian flag on his?
I was so confused as to what you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
We'll see it later. We'll point.
This fight is awful.
Yeah, so I actually got a really bad pattern here. So Leon hit the dust towards the back of the room. All the enemies are programmed to go towards the gate because we need to protect the gate. When it gets destroyed, we lose the fight, but that shouldn't happen. So pretty much what we want Leon to do is also be at the gate and take care of these dusks. I want him to stay there because after we kill all of these dusks, a samurai are going to spawn on this side of the arena. And I want to get a dual stance, which is a reaction command that kills everything around me. And we get it by guarding these samurai attacks. So we want Leon to leave them alone right here so I can get a guard off and then get into a dual stance. The creepers will spawn here as well, and once they're gone, the last wave will spawn.
Yes.
So I actually want to pay attention to when they die.
And this is where Leon can kind of hurt things, is he'll go and attack the samurais and cause them to stop their attack, which it's like, oh, he's helping, you know? But that actually sucks because we want to block that attack to provoke the reaction command. Ninten handling it very well, though. We're on to the last wave of dusks here. Probably going to throw out some blizzards if they stack up, but they're not, so just go with, like, regular attacks, too.
Yeah, there's a lot of audibles that Ninten's gonna have to call on the fly.
There's also the security system ruining things as well.
Yeah,
but
still.
Surviving a Bailey is always something that you're happy about. So.
Yeah.
Just chiming in, we have just less than $45,000 until 1 million. The countdown begins.
I want it to be 1 million while we're up on the stage. That would be cool. Make it happen. Okay, thank you. Now this is the mod. We don't have to gummy mish.
Yeah, so
That was your Disney song for this.
now that Kingdom Hearts is on the PC and also recently on a Steam version, we're able to actually skip the gummy missions, which makes the speedrun much better paced because we don't have to go through all of the auto-scrollers. So that cuts about like nearly 30 minutes off the run.
Yeah. Spike, could we get one note of or I'll make a man out of you? That's all we have time for. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Spike.
Listen, for every dollar we get closer to 1 million, we'll add a note.
All right,
So now Canadian Sora throwing down.
Yeah, this is another fight where shadows exist, so it's awful. And they're being a little mean on this one in particular. Sometimes they can kind of group up and Valor Form will take care of them really well. The one like nice thing is that Valor Form levels up these drive forms. You can kind of think of them like Jhobz in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
They level up separately, independently of Sora, and they're generally by using them. And the way Valor Form levels up is by attacking enemies with Keyblade hits. So you can see Ninten just got level 2 there. The one nice thing about like sometimes when enemies are mean is that maybe you'll at least get more experience on your drive form as a result.
So here, now that we have reverted out of Valor form, we lost it, we're going to be making use of a spell we just got, Fire. And Fire is going to be very useful against these shadows because Fire actually hits on every single frame. So whenever we see a shadow underground about to come up, we can Fire and basically guarantee that we'll catch it, so it can't go back under.
Yeah, and Fire gives us back our drive much faster as well. So you see drive gauge on the bottom right. We want to hit 3 to go into Valor form. Other forms will be using different amounts of drive. So be paying attention to that a lot throughout the whole run.
Yeah, Magic in particular is so good at recovering drive. Yeah, just look, as this fire's hitting multiple enemies, that bar is just
all
skyrocketing.
the shadows are on.
Then once he gets once he takes care of those first shadows and everything, switches Donald back in to help finish off enemies with that thunder or just deal damage to them.
Donald is definitely our strongest party member in terms of damage output at this point in the game.
Yeah, and that will remain true for a lot of it.
30 EXP we can see from this level. Level 12, you have just enough at the end of this to where once he takes out this rider, just hits that level 8, and you see the magic increase right there. That's how tight the EXP routing is here, even in the beginning, because now with the help of 2 blizzards, he should be able to take out this first shadow.
Yeah, we're going to snipe him right here. It's actually a pretty hard visit to time.
Really tough to time. Unfortunately.
Just
nice.
Good
Nice.
Donald.
Yeah.
Donald, good
Donald
backup.
helping out there.
Donald's kind of being a baller right now.
That's what we want him to do.
Oh, the alley-oop.
Something relatively new. We used to just ignore these tents, but now what did VG call it? The arson strat?
Yeah.
We're gonna burn down all these tents. Go ahead, Ninten.
Yeah, we're going to burn down all the tents here because it actually creates more room for the shadows to move around, and they actually just come towards us. We got a little unlucky,
Except
though.
this one.
Yeah, this one just kind of camping back here.
This one did not feel like it today.
Bringing Goofy so we can kill this and go into Valor form again. Valor form to end the fight quickly, but we're also going to use it for some movement after the fight.
Yeah,
which is one of the things I love about this is how we transition from like using a drive form in a fight to immediately using it for movement. So it's got like, the double whammy, double benefit.
Spike and I can't get over the fact that this is Canadian Sora right now.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I was also laughing at the fact that she's like, I can't remember the male character's name from Mulan.
Ping.
Oh, yeah, Ping.
No,
Ping
the
was-
leader.
Shang?
Shang.
Shang, I think.
He's like, could you please protect our campsite? He's like, I got this. No more campsite to protect, baby.
Now
this
what,
is
Captain?
a sick strat. The little movement with the delay right there, and just able to alley-oop the Nightwalker off of that into the wall and still break it open. Because if you don't finish the animation, it doesn't actually blow up the wall. None of this is doing anything until the end. So really good manipulation and movement on Ninten's part.
Very clean
Ping
mountain
tried
climb.
to ruin it too. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
see that?
Ping hit that
Ping
one.
hit the Nightwalker
Yeah.
and almost hit it too early.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't think we mentioned in this game. The one thing that really works to our benefit in this game is that whenever you hit an enemy, they will hit you back. And
Oh, yeah.
especially later on in the run, we're going to use that a lot to our advantage. But that's just something to kind of pay attention to now.
Yeah. So heading into this cave fight, Ninten gets reverted from Valor form here because, like I said, Valor form requires you to kind of team up with Goofy to use it. And Goofy gets pulled out of your party for this fight. So that is important because you notice that drive gauge is at 3. It's maxed out even though Ninten was in Valor form. That's something that we're going to utilize a lot. When the game takes you out of a drive form, it'll absolutely fully refill it.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before how the shadows go underground, fire is active for pretty much the entire time that it's out. So if we fire around the shadows, then they'll never be able to escape the attack, and we won't have to worry about them going underground. It's a very useful spell. I'm just going to let him attack here.
Yeah, that was a safe call.
He could do like one of 2 things, I think, maybe 3, and the spinning attack would have probably killed Ninten if he let it happen. So.
Yeah. Trust me, these fights are a lot scarier than they might look.
Yeah, our crowd here, our live crowd's being awesome that they're clapping after all these, because I cannot stress to you all enough. All of us know, we've all ran this before. This is so much harder than I think Ninten ever makes it look.
Yeah.
The specificity to every single fight is off the charts.
Something we're very rarely going to have time to get into is that positioning in this game matters way more than you would think. Like, so much. But we're heading into a fight here where Ninten, are you going to do some EXP boosting here, or is that more of a beginner's strat? I don't remember.
No, we will be getting a lot of experience though.
All right, sort of.
Because we want to hit. I think we're looking for 126 experience till the next level.
That'll set you up safe for level 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
But in the meantime, Ninten's going to be taking care of these rapid thrusters with fire, speed traps, and regular combos. this is a timed fight, so we can't speed up anymore. So you got about 35 seconds or so for donations now.
Perfect. I got so many piling up. We have a $2,000 donation.
Woo!
From Delvin, less than 50K to go for 1 million. Gosh, chat. Let's get that done. We have a wonderful donation from Dignified Beard for $50. Had to donate during Kingdom Hearts. It's been such a big part of my life. I even named my cat Kyrie. I'll donate another $50 if the crowd and the couch can do their best to try to get my cat's attention. Good luck to Ninten and the rest of the runners. All right, folks, let's get on that.
Why was that the scariest summit fight of all time?
Unfortunately, Ninten did not hit the level threshold.
Yeah, it will be okay, though, because we actually have a bit of a buffer here. So I should hit it on the boss fight that we wanted for.
Ninten, being the very good runner that he is, always has backups.
Yeah.
Which is the key to this game in general, is always know all of your backups.
No, the key's the blade.
I hate you, Jhobz.
Thank you, back couch, for supporting me. But yeah, now this is a good introduction to one of the big advantages of running this game on PS4, PS5, or PC, is that your loads are significantly faster.
Yeah.
So you can actually save warp and move to a different part of the world and save enough time to do that instead of other strategies.
Yep, so cool movement tech right there. We actually get hit to get damage boosted on the way to this next fight. And I'll be doing this fight in Valor form. It's a little bit of a scary fight because we have to fight the boat towers in Valor. And they like to just kind of face away from you, and you can only hit where they're facing. So first we clean up these Nightwalkers.
That good dodge. Oh, of course, it just barely lasted long enough.
Mulan finished them off. Mulan's Mulan now, by the way.
Oh, and way more useful.
Yeah,
there we go.
That was a pretty good ending of that fight. Yeah.
Mulan,
very sexy.
Mulan actually got customized to party attack earlier as well, if I'm not mistaken. So that way she can take care of some of the extra enemies in this fight. So that way they don't mess up the gate and make you lose.
All right, so on Shan Yu here, we're going to be running up to him and proccing the reaction command by parrying him, because reaction command does a ton of damage, especially on critical mode. And then this reaction command will also defeat the Nightwalkers if we time the right here, which should actually get me level 10 right there.
Perfect. I don't know if we mentioned this about Valor form, but because you have two Keyblades, you have the strength stats of both Keyblades. So another reason why you do more damage in Valor form.
Yep, so he should go into his next phase here. Now we're going to guard his attack to go into the reaction command again. And thankfully, this boss actually takes a lot of hits before he retaliates, so we should be able to beat him before he gets a chance to do anything here.
And that blizzard almost...
Oh, I thought for sure that would kill him.
I did too. There you go. Very nice.
Something about this game that I don't think any other Kingdom Hearts title has had is, in order to kill a boss, you have to kill them with the finisher. You can't just
or some kind of special attack at least.
Any magic spell counts, but for like ground combos or air combos, it has to be a finisher.
Yeah, or you got to be in like Valor form and do certain attacks or something like that, or use something like a horizontal.
Yeah, so basically
slap.
whenever we're finishing off a boss fight, we have to do a particular attack, which is why I might opt to do not a full combo on them.
I was about to be like, Spike, how about go the distance? I don't know if you know that one.
Did Zem come to this event?
Honestly.
Dude, I was just screaming during the Kangaroo Feud Jr. run a few hours ago.
You're like, I'm not ready
I gotta
to
run
sing.
up my pipes, dude.
We have quite a bit of movement here before the next fight, but
I think the one last thing before we toss over for some donations to mention here is that if you look in the bottom right, that drive gauge is totally locked up. So Ninten would love to be using Valor form to run to the next fight faster, but unfortunately can't due to just story reasons.
in the underworld, heroes are zeros.
Yeah. But other than that, we are continuing that adventure to $1 million. I want to see it during the Kingdom Hearts 2 run. Let's kick it over to the host. Let's hear some donations.
Absolutely. We have a $25 donation from Kubaru, donating 25 money during one of my favorite games of all time, being done by Ninten, one of my favorite runners. I've been looking forward to this run all week, and I'm so glad it is here. Great run with an amazing runner and couch. Best of luck on the run, Ninten. Time to ante up on getting these incentives met and support an amazing cause. Got it memorized? Put in my donation towards the bonus any % run of Morrowind. Ooh. Absolutely, folks. If you haven't seen that, there is an incentive live now for $20,000. We're already at almost 3,000 to get a bonus any % run for that.
All right, and we're on one of the scariest fights of the speed run here.
Yep.
Let me just do this menu very quick. All right.
Yep. Giving Donald his Donald cure back. We would actually like him to cure us this time, but as everyone knows, let's see what happens.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump back and do a fire here. So as Thar mentioned, the enemies attack you whenever you attack them, and that's great for the bats because they actually do, they give us the reaction command to Bat Cry, which does a ton of damage. It nearly one-shots everything in this entire fight. So that was the first platform. There are 3 platforms. And the reason this fight is actually extremely scary is because we get 2-shot by nearly everything. These Lancers do a ton of damage. I want my party members to be here to body block for me right there. See, or Donald actually took a hit there.
Yo, my man.
Yeah, that first person was not just swag from Ninten, although he does that too. But also it helps the party members warp up to you, and Donald took the hit as a result.
That was a beautiful second platform right there.
Exactly.
So here's how much damage you'll see from the Bat Cry. It might actually kill the Lancers or get close at least.
One unfortunate thing about Hades' Fireball is, one, it can do a lot of damage to you, but it also, when it hits enemies, it can knock them away as well.
Yep, so now this is actually the last wave of the fight. The large party can one-shot me. One more Bat Cry should be enough. Oh, this is a bit scary.
That was a good potion.
Yo, nice option.
Let's
That was very good.
That was so good.
That was an extreme, like down to the first platform, the bat like decided to move towards the exit so he could finish it and get down the ramp faster. Like, that was incredible.
Yeah, Ninten showing his experience, nearly 10 years of running this game at this point, that I think even we've done lots of runs of this, I could see just grab the bat and start hitting the large body, right? But he knew I have just enough time to fit in throwing a potion and still catch the back end of that reaction command to use the Bat Cry and get through to the end.
Yeah,
so
we didn't
great job.
Really bring it up, but we have potions customized because we're going to use them as like a safety tool throughout the run. Every time I get hit, I want a potion because I don't want to take a death.
Yeah, and
dying in this run, we cannot emphasize enough, is really bad.
Yeah, it can definitely
you
be
lose a lot
bad.
of time.
Yeah, there's really nowhere you ever want to die.
Yeah,
like it would only be the worst thing to happen.
Wait, no.
Oh no!
What? No!
You suck.
You said it this time. Mickey was in our face.
So yeah, we pulled one over on you, Chad.
Wow, that's never not funny.
Yeah, it's funny every time.
You got me.
Yes. Well, we need the next run ready to go. Where's Blood Thunder?
But yeah,
we're on permadeath.
So there are several fights in this game where Mickey has a chance to spawn and kind of save you from losing the fight if you take a death. That chance is actually guaranteed the first time you die in one of those fights. So Mickey will always spawn here if this is the first time we die in one of those fights. And it just turns out that he's generally faster here. Not even always, because Mickey can be a jerk and not really do that well. But he did pretty well there, I think. I feel like he did okay.
Yeah, so ideally that is the only other time we'll see Mickey throughout the entire run.
Yeah.
There was like a thought to use him in one other fight, but again, as Jhobz said, the first time it's 100% guarantee. The next time I believe it drops down to an 85% chance that it'll show up.
There,
And thankfully enough other strategies have been found to where that's just not necessary. It would suck if you had to rely on it.
There's like a ton of background mechanics happening throughout the speedrun that we probably can't get into all of them right now, but Mickey is one of them where like we know the percentage chances of one will get Mickey.
Right.
And thankfully, we're no longer in the underworld, so we can actually go back into those drive forms for movement. And we'll reiterate it a few times, but Valor form is our fastest method of movement right now because you just run faster.
Right. Yeah. Even that room was just so short. It's worth going into Valor form just to get the run speed.
Right here, we just have to get 20 orbs. 7 times 3 is 20, so 7 urns.
It's so funny. I'm such a math brain, and I've never thought, just make sure you blow up 7 of them.
7 urns.
I've been running this game for 4 years, and I never knew each one dropped 3. I just killed urns until they got enough.
Now Ninten needs to get 100, but there is going to be a large urn that drops a bunch of orbs later. So he's just trying to kind of get as much as he can until that spawns and clearing out space for it.
Yeah.
Very lucky spawn there.
Fortunately, not unfortunately. That spawn was right next to Ninten.
Now Ninten's just going to chill until we get the last wave. It's better to just chill in the middle of the room because this urn drops 3 big orbs, each one worth 10, 100, 100.
We clap for math. Let's go.
Clap for math. Hey, yo, big math. Now we're going to be making our way down into the underworld on our way to kind of a rough little gauntlet of fights coming up here. But we do have about another 40 seconds, I would say, to get another donation on that way to $1 million.
Let's get it.
We have a $1,500 donation from DL12. Great cause, great game, great time. What more can we ask for? We have a donation from the lovely community of Ninten, Zach the Robot.
Hey.
Ooh, for $500, I couldn't think of a better person to showcase this game to the GDQ audience than you, Ninten. Keep crushing it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's go, Zach. Also, Zach been doing a ton of awesome work on our interstitials, so yeah.
Yeah.
You're good to go for another one.
Yeah.
Awesome. We have a $100 donation to MSF from Podgy713.
Let's go, Podgy.
Always a treat seeing Kingdom Hearts 2 at GDQ. Good luck to you, Ninten. May the silliness keep itself in line today, and may your turtles be nothingness.
Shout out to Podgy.
And shout out to Podgy. Podgy is a very good any percent runner of this game. So speaking of the silliness, we have to do a minigame here with Demix. Defeat 100 clones. We have to hit the clone to get the wild dance reaction commands. And it's kind of random wherever Sora faces when he does the command. So we want him ideally to face towards Demix because that's where the clones spawn from. But sometimes if we get knocked away far away, it just slows us down a bit. Oh, so fun fact is that the RC actually pulls in the party members. If you look at them, they're going to be pulled in by the end of the reaction command here.
I'm pretty sure I call all three of you guys that during our practice.
Yeah, I didn't actually know.
Yo, nice.
45
45 is
flat.
good.
45 is around what we want to see on Crit. And now we got the Olympus Stone, so we can go into drive forms now.
Yep, and I was going to say, Ninten also picked up an item earlier in a large chest. That was a power boost that gives that 1 extra strength. And as we mentioned
use
before,
it right now.
yeah, as we mentioned before, that strength matters. Every single stat matters, especially on crit. Like level 1, there's a certain point where those stats stop mattering, but critical mode, they're going to matter the whole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so right here is another fight that's kind of like an auto-scroller. It's timed for 1 minute. But the interesting thing about this fight is that we can farm experience here, just like the one in Night of Dragons. I can also die, so I gotta be a little careful.
I can also die as the bowling ball's like inside right there.
So a cool thing about this fight is that if you make Pete attack you, it will actually make his AI summon the next wave early.
Shout out to Slickzilla12 for finding that relatively recently.
Yeah, it's a pretty new thing.
So the goal here is to actually keep one soldier alive and have your party members or yourself kill it while Pete is retaliating, and that will make him immediately summon the last wave. A little bit too early, but I think he may.
Yeah, so that right there, if the soldier was alive after he started retaliating, then they would have spawned right here. It's a pretty weird mechanic.
I think his AI is in a state where he's just going to keep doing everything but summoning enemies.
Yeah, but it's all right, though, because we got a good experience.
Oh, no, there they are.
One
got 1 extra.
Yeah, that's kind of the standard. And now the terrifying part is if you die in this phase of the fight, you have to do that entire like minute or so, effectively auto-scrolling segment over again. Bad RNG right there that he's immediately going into the pinball.
Okay, I think that both of the search
Donald hit the bad. So that's one of those examples where party members can actually mess up the strategies that we do because Donald hit the bad, which makes him not do the back cry attack.
Yep. And now we have access to one of what I would call the holy trinity of limits that we get in this game. Those are abilities. You team up with your party members to do some kind of big attack. It's not quite like a drive form where you change your form entirely, but it's just a single attack that's really big. Trinity limit is an extremely useful one. We'll use it for the entire rest of the run. And it has 2 different forms of it. The one that we care about here is group trinity. Basically, when you have Donald and Goofy with you specifically, then you can actually use a 3-part, well, really even 4-part trinity where you have a bunch of attacks that deal hits to a boss but no damage, and at the end, that big finisher, that animation you just saw, deals damage based on how many hits you did.
You're going to see just how ridiculous that ability is in the next phase of this fight. But right now, we're going to get up on the Hydra's back, just like the audience just said, and knock them out and just slowly whittle them down with our base combo.
Yeah, so if we don't do that ratchet command, then he'll start summoning more heads, but as long as they're stunned, we just have to get rid of 3 of them here. And thankfully, party members are handling that over there, so he has less health. Now coming up here, I'm going to use another Trinity limit because my magic came back just in time with the ability MP Hystera.
Yeah, those Trinity limits and all limits take your entire MP bar, like every amount of blue that is left.
Drop a little to the second bar of the Trinity. Now just watch this health bar. If Ninten will lock there.
Blah.
Huge chunk. That's because it did 85 hits. And if you get really lucky, you can get like over 100 hits on that. Like it's absolutely wild.
Looks like Ninten's going to do a couple hits. See if he can get the kill, which I think he can.
I think he's good. Oh, so close.
Wait. There we go.
Let's go. The snipe.
You know, I never knew about that blizzard. That's actually really
good.
nice.
I always went up to the door. No, that's great. Shoot them right as they're going flamingo style. That's great.
Yeah. But that was a really good Olympus Coliseum by Ninten.
Yeah, that was really
That is
solid.
one of the nightmare splits for any category in this game, Olympus Coliseum, with the amount of RNG and skill it takes to react to the RNG you're given, and Ninten played beautifully.
And it's on top of that, almost every fight is just so punishing in the amount of time you lose if you take a death. So
Hades Escape, you got to run all the way back. Pete, you got to do the first minute section again.
yeah.
Hydra, you have to get up on the Hydra's back again.
Nobody wants to do
Yeah,
that.
that's the worst
Oh,
part.
let's do that.
So here we're going to see Pooh.
Yo, my man. Winnie the Pooh, just to clarify.
Yep.
What? We just brought on the Hero's Crest right there. It's a really good Keyblade. We're going to have it on for a while. Yep.
And then Ninten's
The cutscene showed it. Threw me off.
So we're having some physical latency there.
Right.
So we're just going to end this fight real quick. Right there, the slide dash did 3 hits on the soldier, and that makes him do the cyclone attack, which we actually did in the tower as well. But it's nice that we have some action abilities that will speed up a lot of fights.
All right. See ya, Graham. Or not Graham.
Grand Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
See you, Grandpa.
Check out Grand Pooh World 3 tomorrow night. Yeah, that is the entirety of 100 Acre Wood that we'll be seeing in this run.
Yep.
Yep.
Shout outs to saving another 5 minutes.
Yep.
Or 4 minutes or whatever it was to the
Oh, yeah.
This is modded.
Yep.
And now here we're also going to take a death at the start. It's kind of a theme that at the beginning of a new world, you're going to be able to death abuse just the first fight of it.
Yeah, and this does like taper off towards the end of the run, but
Just going to remind him to buy Sardonyx ring.
Yes.
He almost forgot. But what were you saying, Hobbs?
I was just gonna say that tapers off the further we get in the run. These fights that allow you to like lose enough health to finish them.
Right.
But in this early part of the run, we're gonna do that where we can. Otherwise, some of them like you can either deal enough hits or you can just have it take enough time. But dying is fast, so we're gonna do that.
Another nice thing about taking the death abuse as well is that it skips the ending animation, which
Is fades to black.
yeah.
We have time for a couple quick donations.
Yeah, probably.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're just doing a little mini game.
I've got a couple of themed donations for you. We have a $25 donation from Meek Rhino that says, Ninten keeps skipping the cutscenes, so I'm getting a little lost. How much to get a quick plot summary of the entire Kingdom Hearts series? I'm sure it's straightforward if you watch the cutscenes.
Ninten, you're just going to need to pause for a second. Here's the thing. If we let them run, you would be more confused.
Yeah,
I gotta catch a flight in the morning. I don't think we have time.
Yeah.
And we have a $1,000 donation from, please excuse my pronunciation, Ari Garion. I was going to try and summarize the plot of Kingdom Hearts, but there's a 5,000 character limit on donation comments.
Very fair. Thank you for those donations. Into Thresholder here, we have another, boss. And Chicken Little is this is the first time we're seeing Chicken Little, right?
Yeah.
This is the summon of choice for this fight. We'll see more about Chicken Little later and explain more of it, but all you really need to know here is that this is always going to be 2 phases on critical mode, just due to the way the boss works.
Yep.
yeah, and also summons are really good in this game.
They're really
Summons
good.
are very good.
We're going to use them a bunch.
I believe we'll be seeing all of them, maybe all but one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, you
I
should
wasn't
see
sure.
Stitch in this one.
I wasn't
so.
sure if you were going to get
Spoiler
Pan or
alert.
not.
So I saw it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I didn't know about Pan or not if we're going to get
Mr.
that.
Pan. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk more about Chicken Little later because that is the last use of Chicken Little in this world. But
Yeah, he's going to really shine in the next 2 worlds we're going to go to. We're going to kind of explain his mechanics more.
yeah,
But yeah, another great place for like 2 donations before we get to Beast.
Awesome. We have a $123.45 donation from Brett. Come on, y'all. Let's get to 1 million.
Yo.
Ooh. We have a $50 donation from Jacob 4260. So
go,
incredible to see my favorite runner run my favorite game. Thank you to GDQ and best of luck, Ninten.
Jacob is the one that made this mod. So
Yeah,
it's all
P.S.
Jacob. Let's go,
That
Jacob.
timeless river Sora is pretty cool. I cannot lie. Time for one more?
One.
Okay, $10 donation from Uvari. If we get to 1 million, will Spike sing us a song?
You know what? Sure.
Yeah.
Get me to 1
All
million.
right, folks.
Viewers' choice. We'll figure it out.
Viewers' choice. Oh my goodness, I've never seen
Yeah,
that.
that was very odd.
Ninten went to the moon.
Yeah, so that was Beast.
Yeah. Nice spacing of Ninten's combos there to where the AoE of the second finisher could kind of fit in around Beast's attacks. Because Beast is kind of like a lot of other enemies you might run into this game. They can kind of just brick wall and they don't stagger if you don't use Cogsworth's reaction command right there. So yeah, sometimes you have to know how to fit in your hits, even if they're not going to do anything. They're not going to respond.
Here's
from it.
more example of the save warping tech to just save a lot of time on the movement.
Yeah, those are like the biggest save warps right there.
Yeah,
Going
definitely.
all the way from Beast Room all the way to the front where we're going to fight the boss.
And what do you know it? More Valor form.
Yeah, coming into this boss too, like this boss is a perfect example of how specific positioning is and
Yeah.
how positioning can affect not just, it can affect enemy AI, it can affect patterns, behaviors, or just other facets of the fight.
Yeah,
But
so
stepping back a
right
little
there,
bit.
yeah, we take a step back, and that actually makes him go underground as opposed to going into the window. And we do that because the window loses a lot of time. So if we're able to beat him before he goes into the window, then that will save a ton. Do a full combo here, get a lot of damage in because we have Hero's Crest.
Nice, very
Windowless.
good. Windowless is fantastic. Not only does it save the time of the enemy not going into the window, but also Ninten now has a lot more Valor form to be able to use this next fight. I think we'll end up reverting manually, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
but
So
still.
in the beginning of this fight, we'll be doing one neat thing about Valor Form is that you can actually end your combo early, which you can't usually do in this way. But some forms in this game let you end it early, and that lets us make Dark Durin go into a super armor state, and then he attacks right here. We're gonna use the limit during his retaliation. Try to catch him out of this.
Looks like you overdamaged him just a little bit.
Yeah, and then do an upper slash, which we just got. Knocks him into the air, get air combos in, right before he goes into the
Nice.
channel.
He was about to jump
Yeah,
away.
your lock-on reticle just went away.
Yeah.
It was scary.
That was very good. And that's the end of Beast Castle.
Yeah, just like that. Nice quick fight. Upper slash getting some really cool utility there. That little mid-ground finisher to knock them up in the air and kind of reset his ability to keep doing those air combos. Because with that Hero's Crest Keyblade that we just got from Olympus Coliseum, we didn't bring it up. A little bit of a higher strength stat, but the big thing is it's got air combo boost is the ability it comes with, where just your aerial finishers will do increased damage based on the number of hits that are in your air combo. You also see stuff like a combo boost version for the ground variants later on, another Keyblade we'll use. But Hero's Crest is going to be the king of your Keyblades for a while.
Quite a while.
A while here.
Yeah, and another thing is that we're not exclusively using air combos anymore. Ninten is doing a lot of ground combos here and there, and that's mostly due to some of the abilities we've gotten, like Slide Dash, which is an extremely good gap closer. We talk about gap closers a lot when we do like randomizer stuff or even just the regular speed run, because a lot of enemies don't spawn right next to you. They spawn further away. So you need something to close that gap.
And here's,
Slide Dash is good.
believe it or not, one of the hardest strats in the game. So
Yeah,
I gotta
you guys ready to see
focus
something
on
hilarious?
this. Very precise.
Ninten's just pushing that mouse.
God, this is so hard to do.
Legitimately, we're not memeing. This is really difficult.
And without
Oh my
Faithless. Let's
and
go.
without the Faith RC.
Faithless.
Ninten knows when Minnie is going to do her little orb attack, which can sometimes put her slightly out of position. But because he knows the timing and got into that fight set up perfectly, he was able to react to it, keep her next to the wall, and push her to victory.
Yeah, so her hitbox is basically like a circular hitbox, and the wall is flat. So it's really hard to push her because if you go straight forward, then you'll move her away from the wall. You have to kind of push her inwards.
Yeah, we love frame fatales, but we don't want to see this faith command in that last, room. So this is one of the spots where Ninten's able to kind of catch up on experience or make sure that his experience is good. There's a lot of bolt towers in here that will get hit by this faith reaction command, and Ninten's looking at that experience value that pops up in the top left whenever one of them dies to see where he needs to be.
Yeah, I need a lot of it here, so we're going to spend some time level grinding just a bit.
Yep, I think you want to be at 525 to the next level.
Yeah, because one of the things is in this room, it would be really hard to push Minnie because there's not like a wall right next to you to push her forward. So the fastest way to just move across it is run forward a little bit, call her over, use that reaction command, that faith reaction command, and then do it again over and over. So since we have to do that anyways, he can go ahead and spend, take a small diversion to kill some bolt towers.
Oh, I think maybe
just want to be
one more.
Let's go.
Okay,
There you go.
Nice. That is, you normally do not have to level grind that much. So that was
weird.
That was a good backup, like a good recovery there. But now we're back on track. So.
Yep, just heading out to Hollow Bastion real quick, and then this is what I consider like the end of early game. So we're moving into the middle portion of the game where we have a lot more abilities and the fights get a lot more intense. We have a lot more spells.
This game's so fast when you don't have to do an auto
It is so much
every
faster.
like 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, it was one of those, like, it always happens in speedrunning where the stuff that is under your control as speedruns develop just get faster and faster and faster. But the stuff that you can't control the speed of, like your auto scrollers, they were just staying that amount of time. So I think that with this mod, we're finally able to take those out. The run goes by so fast.
It also allows you to do things like use like soft reset and stuff to just kind of help yourself.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of practice tools as well.
Yeah.
And that last menu Ninten put on the Sardonyx ring that we bought in Beast Castle gives them one more strength stat.
By the end of this run, everyone's going to know one strength.
One strength, it's huge.
One strength to rule them all.
On top of hitting that level up, or we're hitting a level up by the end of the windows here because you want it for the boss fight of this world.
Yeah, so right here, we're finally gonna really get to see what is so powerful about Chicken Little. So by creating specific distance between yourself, Chicken Little, and the enemies, you can get this whistle command right here, where he will draw all the enemies in that are close enough, and then you can start doing various attacks on them. Right here, using that reaction command, if he can keep just a little bit of height right here, he can knock all of them out. That is a very hard first window.
Ninten smartly hitting one of the hammers because he knew he was going to fall just below the threshold to get that last RC. Because he hit him, kept him in the air.
Yeah.
Beautiful finish.
Chicken Little is a very particular summon where like what he does is pretty consistent, but knowing how to control him and being able to control him mid-run is a very difficult thing to learn.
Yep.
It absolutely is, because like Spike was saying, it's not just based on your position, it's based on Chicken Little's position, the enemy's position, and your position, and how all of those things relate to one another. So, very tough to do. I like to think, this is a good example, we have 4 mob fights in a row here. The way this game works, our bosses, we have a really good idea of what we're going to do in a lot of bosses, and we can kind of just try to execute the one specific thing we want to do. But mob fights are like, we have an idea of what we want to do.
Yep.
The game might not let us do that, but we have an idea, and then so you have to be ready to handle all of the different variations that can come from that if you aren't able to have it go exactly how you want it.
Absolutely. There's a lot more randomness within. It's just that many more enemies on screen, that many more variables that you have to worry about.
Yeah, so you mentioned having to get back drive before. There's actually a mechanic in this game where if your party members are not with you at the time, then if you have a summon out or if you're in a drive form, it'll just give you back your drive. And so we actually use that throughout the windows here. And this fight, in particular, the party members will be with us, so we can't use a summon in that fight, which is why we end it with Trinity Limit.
Oh, you have to
do window
one more window,
3.
yes.
I was curious about the order. That's a level 1 thing. You do the windows in a different order in level 1. This will be weird, but it's fine.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, you just do it without Chicken Little. I believe in you.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah, here we've got one of the most infamous enemies for people casually in Kingdom Hearts 2. Yo, shouts to Sora. Or shouts
to Donald.
Donald. You know what? Sora for taking it on the lip. That was great.
This is fine.
Yeah.
So
this is how you handle the cards, by the way, because a lot of people don't know how to handle the cards. Just use counter guard.
Yeah, counter guard's really good. Chicken Little would be making quick work of them as well, because not only can he group them up and they can't hurt you, but also he can throw a baseball at them to knock them up in the air so they're vulnerable again. But Ninten with a really good on-the-fly routing here, going for Trinity Limit.
Getting that big strength increase there at the end. Now you'll have that strength for Boat Pete and Pete right after this.
couldn't use Chicken Little there because Ninten wanted to use Valor Form here.
Yep.
So like he was saying, each of those windows, it puts you back in a room with no party members. You would get all your drive back except the last one. The last one, your party members are still with you, so you would remain with that Chicken Little out, and we don't need Chicken Little here, we need Valor Form.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons why we're in Valor Form is that Valor Form has 2 Keyblades, and that affects our stats. So we have the stats of both Keyblades, which makes us do a lot more damage.
So the name of the game here is Don't Get Knocked Off.
Yeah, and this is a good example of how long it takes to start another combo after a finisher. Ninten might do some like pause buffering here and there in this fight because he's looking to see if... there he goes. He's basically wanting to make sure there that he's not going to be in a finisher when the game wants to throw him off. Because even though it might look like, oh, he's done with the attack, he can hit triangle, there's a long period of time there where you actually can't.
Ninten has just enough drive to start this fight in Valor Form, which is pretty big. It'll save us a few more seconds on this fight.
Yeah, get that short Valor Form combo right there. Now we're going to use Shitty Limit here. Ultima gets a ton of hits, especially because of the fire that's here. So the fire racked up a ton of hits here. And that gets him to the next phase.
This is good. The fire in this fight is actually very, very dangerous to have to interact with. So it's good to just get out of this one immediately into phase 3.
Yeah, and this fight is a good example of something that's going to come up a lot later called revenge value. And Thar, I know you like to talk about this one.
Oh, well, revenge value is just basically a hidden mechanic in the game that the community found a while back and dubbed revenge value. But it's basically when you're fighting a humanoid boss, and even some heartless and nobodies, when you hit them enough, they will stop staggering and they will hit you back like Peach just did right there. But that's basically a mechanic built in by the devs to prevent us from basically comboing bosses from 100 to 0.
Yeah.
The double tap. Let's go.
There we go. That's the end of Timeless Rover.
But revenge value is going to be very important throughout this entire run, especially in in-game. So we're going to see a lot more of it.
Yeah, that boss also is a good example of how a lot of bosses will have multiple phases to them. And this one, you could only get to a specific amount of health, and then he shifts to the next phase, and that happens over and over. Some bosses, you can damage them totally past a phase, maybe skip a phase entirely. Others, you might be hard limited by how much damage you can do before they move into another phase. So all of that changes up the strategies for the various bosses we do.
And they're at the end of Disney Castle, getting a bunch of cool tools we'll get into later. Reflect your best magic in the game. Fantasia, the second of that holy trinity of limits. And the Wisdom form ability, our next Super Saiyan form that we can blow
Right
up.
there, I ended the fight instantly. Something really cool about that right there was that I did a slide dash into a bomb and 2 pirates, even though it didn't seem like it, which did like 10 hits. Shout out to Sun-Zero for finding that strat right there.
Yeah, also Chicken Little doing the whistle kind of like affects the fight as well.
Yeah, these are like some of the classic speedrun fights right here. And this is where you want to show people, oh, why is Chicken Little so good? Because of how you spawn into these, it perfectly sets it up, the distance. He'll draw them in, 2 pops. Ninten just has to move back very slightly, draw them back, step back again, draw in the soldiers that spawn in, and then the alley-oop, and we out of there.
I don't think that strat's ever going to change.
No, right.
I hope it doesn't change.
And sometimes the double thunder doesn't even kill it. You kind of need Chicken Little to like also use some fireworks, and they have to land properly. So happy 4th of July.
Oh yeah.
Go into a little bit of a menu here. Going to customize that reflect spell that we just got. And Ninten also took off fire there because fire is actually at the top of the magic menu. So if Ninten ever needs to use it, can menu it from the magic menu pretty easily, whereas some other spells are a little bit further down, might be more complicated to do.
Yep, so we got a little ambush here. We have to get rid of the enemies before we go to our destination.
Let's talk about these pirates a bit. You notice that our magic interacts with them in a kind of interesting way. Our blizzard is going to be freezing them, and we're going to be doing that a lot throughout this world. But the pirates are incredibly weak to magic. So we're going to be using Chicken Little to position them out of the shade because just like the pirates and Pirates of the Caribbean, when they're in the shade, their true form, skeleton form shows, and that's the only way we can do damage to them. So we're going to use Chicken Little, whistle them out of the shade, Blizzard to keep them in place, and just finish them off with some magic.
Yeah, this is one of our last timed segments in the game, and ideally I'm looking to kill 12 pirates here, because that gives us a good amount of experience. But unfortunately, they can just choose not to walk over here, because they spawn in that section over there.
Yeah, this fight and several of the fights in this world are actually quite scary because you have the, crossbow wielders in the in the back there that can just, if they stagger their shots just right, you might have to either not attack for a long time or just get shot, and that is not what you want to have happen. And the like Axemen, if you don't have them sucked up by Chicken Little's little group magnet effect, then they can also deal a bunch of damage to you. It is absolutely brutal.
One nice thing to point out is that Chicken Little has HP drain, so every attack that we do with Chicken Little out would give us back HP.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
The beautiful lineup right there on all those blizzards. So yeah, easily getting, I think, got a bonus pirate even.
Yeah, we got 12 there, which is good.
Nice.
Ninten did pick up a chest in that fight, and that wasn't just by accident or just to goof around. We need that item later to get an elixir towards the end of the run.
Yeah, we just need one synthesis item. And now we have one of the scariest fights here in the mid-game portion of the run. We got boat fight.
Yep, after this ambush real quick. Here finding this out to get more experience. Boat fight is actually really scary on critical mode because we want Chicken Little to position the enemies in a very specific spot. We want to kill them at a certain time. So we're going to walk backwards here to get the whistle out. The cannonballs are really bad because they give them the status effects of fire, which makes them run around with a super armor state so they don't get affected by anything.
Just chiming in, we hit $960,000, 40K left to 1 million.
Woo! Yeah, you can see that pirate just walked right through that blizzard because they were in the shadow.
Yep, so we're going to gather them all up right here. Watch out for the cannonballs. We want them to be on the stairs because the cannonballs don't show up on the stairs, and Chicken Little will continue to whistle them here. You can get some good air combos in. Nice. Now they're going to spawn down there, and we want to get a whistle on both of them just like that.
Ooh. Pop another ether, get full MP back.
And these are the last two pirates. Actually went really well.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Clean boat fight.
Because the thing about that fight is it's scary for multiple reasons. Yeah, you can die, and that's just an ever-present danger. Or you can lose a lot of time because they can just kind of hide around in the shadows and stuff. But also, you could run out of Chicken Little if Chicken Little gets hit too much, and that would lose you all your drive. And you can see Ninten just went into Valor form here, so you wouldn't be able to do that. Yep. And the next section that we have is quite a bit of running, and not having Valor form is going to lose you a lot of time in that section.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you how many runners have lost runs to just this Barrows minigame.
Oh, yeah.
It can be so hard. Now we're going to run over to Barbosa.
This is a good example of just how fast Valor form running is compared to regular Sora. Helps you even dodge the attack there. You run all the way through. We don't need any of the chests in these rooms. Just going to head straight to the boss. Ninten's going to open that one up with Valor form, then eventually revert.
So I don't remember if I got this item.
You did. Okay.
But yeah.
That just sounded funny.
You just wanted me to be alive.
I wanted to see
you're
if
going to
maybe
open that one up with Valor form and Ninten immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were going to do it before I said that.
I thought Ninten was just doing a bit.
I want to see if Final Form was in there.
That's a rando joke.
Rando joke number 2.
That's a rando joke.
All right, big Valor combo there, and then reverts. Didn't quite get an immediate retaliation from the boss, so would have used Reflect on that if possible, but instead going into Blizzard combos, Blizzard's going to freeze the boss.
Barbosa is in fact a pirate, so he freezes.
And then again, doing those air combos because that air combo boost ability on Hero's Crest, the Keyblade we're using, is going to make you do a lot more damage.
I'm willing to bet that nobody knew you could freeze Barbosa when you played this as a kid. I know I did.
Unless Donald accidentally did it.
That might be the lore. That might be what happened. Because the game, I know you always bring this up, Hobbs, the game tells you.
Yeah, it does, the first cutscene, it's like one of the first cutscenes in the world. They're like, don't hit the pirate, don't let him hit him with your magic. It's so strong. Right. We're like, I didn't listen.
Keyblade, press X.
Dude, I was just freaking out because Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right?
Like, why Sora looks so weird in this world?
Got the good pattern right there on the bandit. Want to get the fast attack.
Gonna buy more ethers. We haven't really talked about it much, but your MP bar is actually shortened in critical mode, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And
yes.
Magic is very good. It's a very good resource. You've seen us using it a lot, as well as limits, which use that entire bar or however much of it is left. When you use all of your MP bar, you go down, you have a purple MP recharge state where you have to wait out this long timer to come back. But if you use an ether, even if you have 1 MP, if you use an ether, it fills you all the way back up. So ether's extremely valuable in this run.
Absolutely.
big menu put on there, and Ninten can talk about in just a second what was up there. But first, going to be using Wisdom Form, our new drive form from Timeless River, to move around because it has that quick run ability, and it kind of like lets you ice skate along on the ground, so it helps. There's no more lag frames really as you land before you can keep moving.
From this point forward, more or less, Wisdom Form is going to be our fastest form of movement. And we're barely ever going to use it in fights. It's pretty much just a movement tool, with the exception of leveling it up, which we'll see in this world, which I know how I've talked about before.
Yeah, so Wisdom Form levels up from defeating Heartless specifically, and there are a ton of Heartless that we'll be fighting. We're forced to fight in this world, so we go here first instead of Halloween Town, so we can level up Wisdom Form to level 3, and that's when Sora will get access to the quick run ability himself.
Yeah, because those drive forms, as they level up, their abilities get stronger, and they unlock some abilities for regular Sora when he's not in the drive form, and one of those is quick run.
All our donors must be wearing Wisdom Form,
Ayo.
donating to Doctors Without Borders. We are so close to 1 million. Keep those donations rolling in. You're doing such a great job, folks.
Okay.
2 hits from that like wave thing will kill Ninten.
I was going for a really hard strat where you can actually push a boo, just like we pushed Mini earlier in the run.
Yeah, but again, this time, just like you said, Jhobz, now you're on ice skates trying to push a bit.
With no wall next to you to like help.
Right.
So Ninten is going to be using Wisdom Form here on this the Chasm of Challenges section. Again, every single one of these small, tiny enemies counts as 1 experience for Wisdom Form if they're killed while in Wisdom Form.
And you remember how I said in this game, when you hit enemies, they will hit you back? That is really good for us here, because this is really our first instance of seeing Reflect in the game, which is a very powerful ability. So we're going to be baiting a lot of enemies in this world to hit us, so we can just basically destroy them with their own attacks, essentially.
Yep, so you'll be seeing that right here. I use a Blizzard because that staggers the Fat Bandit. And that makes him retaliate, and then we can do Reflect into a Blizzard right there.
This game is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that you can link your magics into your combos. So you do like an opening hit into a Blizzard, into a grounded finisher, into like a Thunder at the end. Very, very cool stuff they did with this.
Then one of my favorite strats in the entire game.
It's so cool.
Good. You reflect the projectile from the Fortune Teller, use Trinity Limit to lock yourself onto the enemy, which then moves you and your Reflect, which makes the damage applied to the...
Yep, and that was a showcase of Solo Trinity.
Yeah, we can talk more about that as well later because we have another little farming section here, but this is a required fight, so we're not going out of our way to farm Wisdom Form here. Lots of really small enemies. There's level 2 on Wisdom, so Ninten's going to back out of it.
Yeah, we're going to try to build our drive back here. Yeah. Again, fires are very good for building back drive. We want to make sure that there's enough enemies left in the room that we can hit level 3 Wisdom. So there was about 32 there. I believe that we need 36 in total from the beginning to hit level 3. And
there it is. You can see Quick Run level 1 Sora got unlocked, and that was the big reason we wanted to do that.
Ooh, good damage there from the Reflect. The quick menuing, getting Aladdin out into Goofy, so we can get this Trinity Limit off to hopefully defeat all 3 Fat Bandits. 1, 2, 3, they're down.
Nice. If you don't do that ending wave, like if you don't realize, oh, I'm about to finish off the last of the enemies before the Fat Bandit spawn, everything goes horribly in that fight. Like if you're not absolutely ready to reflect into a Trinity Limit, you are very likely going to die and have to redo that fight.
And once again, a lot of it's spacing and timing. If he is a little off on his timing, Donald might die right there because the Fat Bandits are very powerful. Now we go into the boss of this world, the Blizzard and Volcano Lords.
Yeah, so at the beginning here, I'm going to use a Reflect to actually build up back our drive because we want to get 3 drive back pretty soon here in the fight. We want to get Donald to take a death intentionally here because whenever Donald is dead, it won't give us anti-points. Anti-points are what the game uses to give you anti-form. So if you ever play this game casually, you can get anti-form every now and then. Every time you use a drive form, it basically builds up more and more points. And when you get to a certain point, you will get anti-form. So right there, we do that on purpose so that we cannot get anti-form. And this is a good showcase of the phases that bosses have. So we have to hit them with the finisher to get them to the next phase. And we use Valor Form to defeat all of the small enemies right there and finish off the fight.
And just one more air combo should kill this fight.
Yeah,
there we go. Very nice.
Donald died again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As is par for the course, we finish a world, we get a cool tool. Got Finishing Leap there, which is a finisher that Ninten can use instead of, mashing X to finish off a combo. You can press square at the end of a combo. It'll not only hit a bunch of enemies around him, but also pop him up into the air, and ideally whatever enemy he's attacking, up into the air so he can continue with an air combo.
Yeah.
Really good for chaining attacks on enemies.
Yeah. In addition to also getting access to our next summon friend, Genie, right there, which we'll be using a number of very cool instances throughout the run. So now that we have that quick run, that is going to be our main mode of transportation. Wow, that looks weird on this Sora. Our main mode of transportation throughout the majority of the run. So now we're going to summon Genie, as we just saw, in his probably least sexy usage throughout the entire run. He's out because he won't do anything.
Yep.
Cool.
There we go.
We don't want our party members out because they will attack those white knights and prevent them from killing us.
And as
We
you
wanna
saw,
die.
Thank you to the 3 people clapping for not doing anything.
Yeah, that was great. Win, make a wish. What do you want?
I just want to point out that we die in one attack from those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game is still very hard at this point.
Yeah, that really never goes away. You will always be 1 to 3 hits away from death.
And we're actually going to be taking a hit on purpose here.
Yep.
Oh yeah, this strat is very difficult to do, but it has to do with the timing of these reflects is quite particular.
Ninten taking that hit because we got an ability called Experience Boost, which what it
Good
does,
option.
which whenever Sora is below 50% HP, he gets double the experience from killing enemies. And we want to hit level 18 before we go into this next boss fight, Prison Keeper. And because we are in that critical HP, boom, there it is, 18.
Ooh. An aggressive play from Ninten there to actually drop out of it, saying, I can kill the second one faster with just regular Sora.
Yeah, and what's important there is that I'm the one that delivers the final blow on the enemies, because if a party member does it, then you don't get the experience boost.
Yeah. Again, a lot of those kind of JRPG style mechanics coming into play.
Right.
Now,
Thanks, Goofy.
Ninten quick running on over to our next boss here, Prison Keeper.
Yeah, so on Prison Keeper, there's a bit of RNG at the beginning. There's a lot of RNG present in this run, but a lot of it is reactable. It's what actually makes the run really cool, is that there's a lot of reacting to what's going on in the run. So right here, he can choose between 3 different kids. We don't want to see Shock. Barrow is actually the best RNG. Gonna do a Reflect, and then hopefully he retaliates right here, do another Reflect, and then go straight into Dance Call, because Dance Call is one of the best limits in the entire game.
Yeah, this would be in our Holy Trinity we were talking about earlier if you could use it everywhere. But sadly, because it's tied to Jack Skellington, you can only use it in this world.
Yep, so we're gonna get out of Dance Call here. We're gonna go into Valor Form. And this is for MP refill and also just to do a lot of damage. Want to get him into the last phase. We're actually skipping one of the kids by doing enough damage mid phase right there. So like the Dance Call is really important to keep him staggered. Gonna do some extra damage here. This is a shock attack that we don't want to see, but it's okay on the last phase. Now we're gonna do an air combo to make him retaliate. Again, hit revenge value. And then go into Reflect, into Trinity Limit.
Oh, that's so good.
And this last break right here should be enough.
I love this fight.
Yeah, beautiful.
Great strat.
Also getting Flash Step on the top right of your screen there. That is another, it's basically Slide Dash Light. It's basically just a shorter range slide dash, so it's another good gap closer, and it can combo with slide dash to help make sure that you're staying right up next to enemies.
Right.
Quick dono in celebration of that awesome boss fight.
Go for it.
We have a $25 donation from Neosai. Ninten is one of the most talented people I've ever met, and it's awesome to see him running one of the best games ever. Also,
Thank you so much.
For a full plot summary, a good friend once said, kid loses friends and island and wakes up and dog and big key darkness.
Yeah.
That about sums it up.
Actually, that was great. That was the
Yeah,
best,
that was perfect.
best ever plot summary ever.
Let's go, Neosai.
So Ninten doing some thunders against the boss here. They are not doing any damage, but we're actually doing them because, one, we want to get our drive back. And by doing thunders, we put ourselves in MP charge. And something we haven't explained yet is you get drive back faster when you are in MP recharge.
Yeah, you can kind of see it's glowing orange. It's you know, it's bright and shiny because you're getting enhanced recovery rate.
So this fight is very long. I think a good fight on critical mode is around 3 minutes. You know there's something wrong with a fight when a speedrun strat is a 3-minute long fight.
Yeah,
Right.
So this fight, it's mainly because it's a big auto-scroller. We have to let him summon 12 presents and knock them back. And as the fight progresses, he starts summoning them less and less frequently. So we're doing a trickier cut present skip. I'll let Thar explain this one.
Yeah, so the reason we got drive back, we want to summon Chicken Little because he's about to spawn 2 enemies, and we want to keep these enemies alive. So we use Chicken Little to whistle them over, go into the FPS mode, which is Chicken Little's limit-esque, to basically pull them beyond that punching glove, because as you saw for one of them, it kills them. So we use this to keep it alive. We're gonna swap out Goofy, I think, so he doesn't kill that one over there. And what this does is it prevents Oogie Boogie from spawning more enemies on this belt and just lets him spawn more boxes for us to knock him down.
Ninten even throwing a thunder on it so that it wouldn't get up to the spikes and potentially die of its own accord.
That's also so it doesn't despawn. If you just leave it alone
Gotcha.
and don't perform any action, it will just go away.
Because, yeah, he's trying to get a double present skip effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right here, if the enemy was gone, we'd have to wait a little bit longer to get into the middle here, but we can go instantly, and now it can die to the spikes.
Yeah. Wonderfully done. That is not easy to do in a fight that if you get hit by one of these, pieces of lightning that's raining down, it's probably just going to combo you until you die.
Yeah. That fist that keeps coming down, that's a one-shot from full health.
So Ninten's listening to so many different sound effects, as well as some of these patterns are predictable, to be able to just know how to handle this fight.
Yeah, thankfully when you do the reaction command, you have iframes, so you don't take damage during it, but it's very easy to get clipped by things in this fight. And it's such a huge time loss if you die.
And now here the boss can
double
move
move.
twice, so that we
Yeah.
lose a tiny bit of time, like 2 seconds or
5
something.
seconds.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's 5 seconds.
Wow, I thought it was 2.
It is.
That's
Yeah,
awful.
the animation
move.
lingers longer than you would think.
Yeah, that is awful.
Yep.
That's just random. There's nothing we can do about that.
One more quick run under the fist right here. And hopefully Jack or Goofy will help me out on damage on this last part.
Yeah, the safe move would be dance call, but we go for the fast move.
Guys, that fight is dumb.
Yeah,
That is not a good fight.
it's probably most runners' least favorite fight.
Yeah.
It's long, there's a lot of auto-scroller aspects to it, but it's also not an easy fight.
No.
It is
No.
Very
And
dangerous,
especially once
too.
the present skip stuff got discovered, it's like
Yeah.
at least there's a cool piece of tech to it,
Yep.
but like it's hard to do.
Right,
And you
yes.
have more to manage in a fight you already had a lot to manage in.
Hey, yo,
We're not going there.
Yeah. Spike needs
$1 million,
to
baby.
We hit million
turning this
right now.
bus around.
First use of Genie here. I think.
Second use of Genie.
First, real use of Genie.
Actually.
Gonna set him to Wisdom form because Genie actually gets the same drive forms that you have, and it affects his different attacks.
Yep.
Wisdom form's really nice. Ninten waits just a moment there and then uses that Wisdom form attack from Genie to hit a bunch of the enemies.
Yeah, so we took a hit here because we'll be EXP boosting this as well. I think we mentioned it before, but we want to be at half HP because that gives us more double experience. And we're going to be wanting to hit a huge level coming up soon in the next world.
We also got the Magnet spell recently, which, as you can see, you can put above your head in order to group enemies up. And it allows us to do a lot of damage like that. Let's go. That is like, what I think you said is like a 20% or something to you consistency rating.
Yeah,
to get
that's
the
really hard
finish
to
like
do.
That,
That never
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, and again,
awesome.
that was all in positioning for this technique that we like to call the Magnet Shuffle. Jhobz, would you like to explain what the Magnet Shuffle
Sure.
is?
First, I want to say that fight is what made me stop running this video game. All right.
It's so hard.
I wanted to do that strat because I wanted to look cool, not like Ninten, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, I talked about that magnet. You pop it up over your head. It groups enemies up into it. And as it pulls the enemies into it, it deals a little tiny bit of damage.
Little bit.
A little tiny bit of damage.
Practically nothing.
Yeah, just a tiny little bit of damage. But every time an enemy gets knocked out of the magnet, it gets pulled back in again. And it does that little tiny bit of damage. And turns out if you use something like Trinity Limit or Wisdom Form Genie or lots of other things that we're going to see throughout the whole run, you can cause enemies to get pushed out of that magnet, sucked back in, out of that magnet, sucked back in. And it might happen over and over and over again several times within a second.
Right.
And so that turns that magnet that does just a tiny bit of damage, is mostly utility to group enemies up, into one of the best damaging tools in the entire speedrun. At least for regular mobs. It's not as good for bosses generally, but for regular like Heartless and Nobodies, it is extremely powerful.
Yeah, this section is actually one of the coolest movement sections in the game. We get to use Wisdom Form. We do a lot of tech to skip like ledge grabbing. Just timing your quick runs really well is also really important. You can lose a lot of time from just like having suboptimal movement.
Yeah, using spells like Fire or Reflect to get enough height to dodge a... or even just like that, like a little fire there to
cut out the
land
landing lag like you had talked about earlier to start up a quick run.
Now we go through a maze. I don't know how you're ever going to remember where to go.
I probably have time for 1 or 2 donations here, I think,
Awesome, amazing. We have a $250 donation from Archie23. Ninten crushing this game like always. Doctors Without Borders is a worthy cause, so let's push for that 1 million.
Woo!
Yes, thank you so much for that donation. We have another $100 donation, or a $100 donation from Rachiwi, donating for my forever fandom. 1 mil, here we come.
Let's go.
My dude's got purple hair.
This is interesting.
This is popping.
Thank you all for donating for Timeless River Sword, because this was the correct name.
Yeah, this was great.
So stealing the ether from Tron there. And did you do anything else in that menu? I didn't quite catch.
No, that was it, We want to keep on Hero's Crest for a bit longer. Just a small mini game right here. So in this mini game, you have to catch the cube. One neat trick is that wherever it spawns, so right here it'll be glowing red. If you quick run 1 space left, it will most likely be around here. Let's see if I'm a liar.
Yeah, you have to either do a finisher on this cube or pop into a dry form to just take it out.
Yeah, dry form explosions being another instance of like a special attack as well.
Yeah, and they hit a wide area too, so you don't have to be right next to the cube like you would have to for a regular combo.
Or if you suck at that minigame and you actually lose the box.
So one thing I want to mention is that we got limit form and master form. So earlier in Agrabah, I was mentioning stuff about anti-form. When we get new drive forms, it also resets our anti-points. So when you get, as I said, when you get too many anti-points, you can get anti-form, but there are certain situations where you won't get anti, which we'll be making sure that we do. So we'll hopefully never see anti except for maybe one part.
Yeah, we do have it routed out specifically, but...
And this is Light Psycho. Light Psycho is deceivingly pretty dangerous because if I get hit, then suddenly it becomes very scary.
Yeah, this first part, the enemies will always spawn 2 blue, 2 yellow, and 2 green. But the location that they spawn is random, and whether they're attacking right away or not is also random. So that first part is not set. Now this part, that some of the attacks some of the later enemies can do is a little random, or at least so based on so many factors it might as well be. But at least now everything spawns where you expect it to, like in the same places, and will react pretty much the same way every time.
Yeah, so basically it's one of those things where if you do the same thing every time, the same thing will happen.
Right, yeah.
So little interactions that each of these enemies do. These green ones spam a shield, and if we hit it at the right time, we can propel ourselves right into the turn.
It's so good. The game wants it to be kind of a rock, paper, scissors, where if they are putting up a shield and you attack, it slams you into the wall. But it turns out if you get slammed towards the wall, but there's no wall there because you're at the turn and you turn at the right time, you just go flying down the corridor. It's
do that again right here.
Yeah. Ideally get like 3 of them or so for what Ninten does.
That was a good one right there.
Yeah, that was awesome. Now, unfortunately, if he goes for another one, it's going to be based on one of the white light cycle enemies, which those can go from any of the attacks that the other colors can do. So it's a little bit random. You have to kind of hope that they use the shield attack.
See if you get it here. Nah.
Unlucky, but survive.
Got the 2
That's the most important part.
Yeah, another really, I know we've been saying this throughout the whole run, but it's so easy to die in this run in so many places, and this is a big example of one that early on you might die here multiple times because you get 2 shot by everything and there's no way to like replenish your HP in any way. It's rough.
This is another reason you should go to cage2rando.com because that minigame is gone.
Get it.
Yep, so we'll be doing some more experience boosting here. This is actually the most important parts of our experience grind because we have the hits. Level 23, I believe it is, in the screens minigame. So we're taking a hit, and we'll be at this low HP throughout this entire next segment.
Yeah, and we're seeing our first instance of Stitch here on screen, another summon that we just picked up in Hollow Bastion. Stitch is fantastic if he wants to be, but can also be very frustrating because Stitch is quite random. You can influence what he does based on your health. If you're in critical health, he is more likely to do this, Ohana attack where he's using the ukulele over and over. And right now, that's what we want to see out of him because it will cause enemies to die from the magnet it'll do that magnet shuffle basically, but a little bit slower. Ninten wants to clear 2 screens and then keep using magnet and finishing leap or regular attacks, whatever he kind of has available to him, reflect as well, to be able to kill as many enemies as possible. Because again, look, every enemy is giving 152 experience because they normally would give you 76 experience. But because he's below half health, he gets double the experience from him.
Yep, and I think we're coming up on level 22 here, so we just have one more to go. Ideally, we have them all grouped up together. And also, ideally, Stitch will lick Sora.
Yeah, licking Sora will refill all your MP. So.
Yep, it's the biggest thing we want to see out of him in this fight.
Yeah, after this point, if we ever use Stitch, you just want him to refill your MP, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much all you want him to do.
Yep, that's actually pretty good. A 49 is really fast.
That was really fast.
That was really good. And Tron learned a new ability.
Cool.
Yeah.
That was sick. Learn like auto. Oh, wait, no, the actual.
It's set up, I think. Yeah.
I was like, auto change?
Yeah, setup is actually a good limit in this game.
Yeah.
I just we don't really have the opportunity to use it.
I think the speedrun used to use it way back in the day.
It might have, yeah.
But instead, we're going to use one of the Holy Trinity, the Trifectas.
Yep.
As Jhobz and Spike like to call it.
Yep, we're going to use Comet or Fantasia for the first time here.
Second.
Sorry, I've not the first time.
Yeah, once again, spacing is key right here because basically we're going to try to use Comet after a quick run to the center of the arena and then go into it and try to kind of manipulate Hostile Program to be going up against the wall so he doesn't move away from that big Fantasia explosion. Now we have all of our clusters so we can immediately freeze him and go into some air combos right here. Popping into that limit form, you basically have access to Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora's abilities, including that devastating Zentetsuken right at the end. That pushed Ninten all the way into the final phase right there. We're a little low on clusters, should be able to do some cleanup and get a little bit more
Yeah, this should be okay.
Yeah,
so
staying
he's
a
long
distance
attack
away.
here, and he will stay here for a while, so now we can freeze him and go into another Comet. Thankfully, Tron threw a bunch of potions on him to keep him alive, because he needs to be alive to use this limit, and we can finish him off with the Comet. The Comet finisher does a huge circle.
Nice.
Very nice. That really goes to show like Ninten's prowess of multiple different categories because effectively mid-fight had to decide, I'm going to kind of do the level 1 strat here because he didn't quite get the Ragnarok to land on the enemy and get all the clusters that he wanted at the specific time. Had to just default to, okay, we'll freeze him a little bit later. That's okay.
Yeah.
I would have died.
Yeah.
Now we're going to one of the coolest bits of the run. We got a little gauntlet here of a bunch of little mini mob fights and a boss fight coming up.
Yeah, this is grueling, this whole section.
But it's really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, we want Goofy to use Tornado and gather up all the enemies here. A cool little thing is that when you do attacks during Goofy's Tornado, they do a ton of damage. And want to get that retaliation from the enemy and then summon Chicken Little.
Good fight.
Nice.
Chicken Little there, like, it helps a little bit, but mostly you get to 3 drive, use Chicken Little, and then we're now in another one of those rooms where it takes your party members away from you, so now we're at max drive instead of being at 3.
And guess what? We're going to use Chicken Little again here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dancers, another one of the most toxic enemy types in the entire game. You hit them once, they get you with that grab attack. That's a one-shot, baby.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, going to try to group them up by using Chicken Little's magnet and a regular magnet.
Throw an ether here, get some MP back, so we can keep going into these magnet finishing leap combos.
Yeah, something to mention here is that our ether usage is really important. So you have to remember all the ethers you use throughout the run because sometimes you use a bit extra and sometimes you use a bit less.
Shuffle.
Oh, unfortunate.
That's unlucky, but that's fine.
One alive.
Very nice.
Something, I don't know if we mentioned this about Magnet, but Magnet counts as a finisher, and because we have finishing plus, you can go use a Magnet and go straight into a different finisher, as we saw with those finishing leap there. very devastating combo in our arsenal that we make a lot of use of in the run.
Yeah, if we didn't have finishing plus, we wouldn't be able to have that like magnet into a thunder or a finishing leap or anything. But now we've got Demyx, another one that as a child, this boss got you stuck for hours possibly. We're gonna try to take him out in just about 60 seconds. Getting under 30 water clones right here, then going into that group trinity, using 2 of the different phases, getting him at 5 or less water clones, and going for the trinity.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Bar. Oh my gosh.
Beautifully done. Already down to 2 3/4 health. Popping back into that limit form right there. Again for that devastating Zentetsuken into the classic Ars Arcanum combo. Cutting out the finisher of the Ars Arcanum because then they won't actually gain revenge value. Popping out immediately into Donald's Fantasia. Popping it up after we get him in this brick wall state. Going into first person because it looked cool.
Show off.
I don't even know how you ended that fight.
Was it finishing leap?
That was just a hit. Yeah.
Okay.
I just tapped.
And I just pressed X.
Putting on a few abilities here, and
Yeah, mostly got another reaction boost, so good to put that on. It's going to help out with the various reaction commands. And now, the gauntlet's not over. In fact, it's only just beginning because we're heading into Final Fantasy fights. From this point onwards, if Ninten dies in any of the next 4 little fights here, he will have to refight Demyx. Like, it will be sent all the way back to before Demyx. So starting off with the Yuffie platform here, you get a few kind of basic enemies, and thankfully this one's not too bad. You just kind of have to use whatever tools are available, Cyclone or the Rising Sun attack, anything like that to try to clean them up.
Little Solo
Magnet Shuffle
Trinity
here.
Yep, Solo Trinity Magnet Shuffle. Very powerful tool.
We're gonna do a Sonic Blade here because limit levels up from finishing out your limits. So doing that right there actually gives us a limit experience, and we want to hit level 2 limit for the end of the game. So we route it out where we use our limits.
Yep, already got 1 experience from the hostile program. And,
oh
my God, Ninten almost.
What is happening?
Close to dying here.
Well handled.
Okay, with your TR Sora fit, I thought you were still in limit form. I was like, how are you doing that?
I know, it's throwing me off big time. Yeah, those Morning Stars, again, a theme. If those little slams they have hit you, that is a
Yeah,
one
you were
shot.
dead. And Ninten smartly reacting.
That's how much
using
damage you do, by
RT.
the way.
Good Rising Sun.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
very scary.
Still with the reflect going off right there, doing that big reflect damage.
And we want to hit 4 drive gauge here so that we can go into limit form again.
Yeah.
Limit form uses 4 drive gauge.
Yeah. That magnet shuffle we've been talking about that Ninten's doing with a whole bunch of different forms all over the place, not only is it good for dealing damage to enemies, it's also really good for refilling your drive.
Yes.
Gonna go into limit form to clear out these shadows nice and quick with little help from Cloud. Do a
Yep.
Thunder on these bots to get their RC, very powerful Sparkle Ray, which you will see a lot more of coming up here in another fight. But trying to bait out another. Unfortunate, it died, but we're just gonna try using some Reflect Magnet.
Be a bit careful here.
Yeah, be a little careful.
So if we die here, we have to go all the way back to Demyx.
Yo, what's up, Cloud? Why weren't you in Dirge of Cerberus earlier in the week?
What's that? That was a sick run, by the way. Everybody should go back and watch that.
I agree.
How?
What?
How did you live?
I think that
Okay.
was iframes.
No, okay, I know exactly what happened there.
What?
I grabbed an invisible security bot because it died after I had grabbed it.
Oh my
I
God.
had iframes from that animation.
Okay.
That's so
That
funny
it was
because
the
usually when that
animation
happens, that kills you.
You just die.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That was terrifying. All right, so speaking of terrifying, now into. Did you even put on once more?
I think I did. I hope I did. We're gonna find out.
I can tell you don't have Follow the Wind on. at least,
That's
so,
okay.
Yeah, I don't think he uses that anymore.
Okay. So this fight is pretty much the best thing that Ninten can do this entire fight is what is happening right now. Just use one of these sentry bots over and over, that Sparkle Ray reaction command, and spinning the camera around to help make sure the enemies spawn in, because the ones that are kind of further out on the edges, those are just JPEGs, all right? That's printed out on a piece of paper and stuck around there. They got to spawn in actually closer to Sora.
Little trick Ninten's doing with the camera is the enemies that are off camera, they actually, there's more of them off camera than there are on. So he's positioning his camera so the ray is facing behind him where he can't see any enemies. That way he's clearing out more a lot faster.
And the way that attack actually works has to do with how fast you press triangle after grabbing a sentry bot. So we're talking about the levels of specificity that we can't get into again. They're just magnitudes.
Yeah. So pretty much
orders of
like,
magnitude higher.
Yeah, we're trying to stay out of the edges of the arena because then we spawn less enemies. But I still want to. I'm watching at every enemy here to see what is attacking me because
like
here,
that's a lot of bots.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of bots.
Yeah, the bots can often queue up a laser attack while you're in a reaction command, and you have to be ready to reflect immediately or go into limit form or do something else that's going to protect you.
This was an incredibly clean and
That was
fast 1K.
very good.
Yeah.
What a fantastic mid game.
My goodness, what a 1K.
Some donation hype for that awesome.
Oh yeah, you have plenty of time.
We have a $25 donation from Roshko. Ninten running Kingdom Hearts with Spike, Jhobz, and Thar on the couch. It must be Christmas in July. Let's get that $1 million.
Woo!
Woo! We have a $250 donation from Wabbit Season. Look, Sora, a lucky speed run. And we have one more anonymous donation for $50, donating for a chance at that amazing Tetris blanket and the Morrowind any % bonus. Make sure you're selecting that incentive way down at the bottom when you're donating, folks. We really want to make that happen. We're at 5,500 out of 20K. We can do it.
It would be so fantastic if we hit 1 million during this run.
Yeah, come on, folks. We got to make that needle move because my brain needs number go up.
I need it. And now here we are in the second visit of the Disney Worlds. Just like we've been going over.
Yeah.
We got to revisit 5 of the worlds right now, including a Beast Castle second visit. We're not doing the full second visit right now. We're just going to be going up to get our next most powerful Keyblade, the Rumbling Rose.
Mm-hmm. It's a very good Keyblade because it has Finishing Plus, which means that we get to have a third finisher on top of the Finishing Plus we had from Critical Mode. Mm-hmm. And another neat thing I'll be doing here is manipulating the Boki vendors. So the Boki vendors are an enemy that give you synthesis items, and they also give you a ton of experience. And a neat trick that was found by Hiren is that if you go into the room 3 times and then exit, it has to be a room that Boki vendors can spawn in. They will spawn in every other room, every other world that they can spawn in right now. So we'll be seeing 3 of them up here, and we'll be grabbing them for experience.
Big shout out to Ahirun, who's just basically the pioneer of everything technical about Kingdom Hearts 2 speedrunning.
Yeah, without a hero, it would have taken so much longer for a lot of these fights to really get developed in the way that they are now.
Now we're going to Pirates Part 2. Let's see some more magic spam.
Yeah, so this Rumbling Rose we're going to see real quick. I believe I should put it on right here. Down here's Crest on Master Form.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to see how good the triple finisher is on the Pirates.
Quickly switching in Donald at the end of the fight to save him some menuing time.
Yeah, I love that little optimization as opposed to having to wait until after the fight. You're waiting there for half a second for the fight to end. Let's also quickly menu in Donald and have that done afterwards.
It really is like half a second, too. You do not have much time. You have to very quickly hit up, like maybe left, and then up X, down X, I think. It's a lot of inputs really quickly.
Yeah. And coming up here, this world is actually one of the hardest worlds in the second visits because of this boss, Grim Reaper. So Grim Reaper, we're going to try to keep him stunned with Blizzard because he has the same properties as the pirates from before. He operates under a new mechanic called Flinch Count. That's a lot to go into for a marathon run, but basically we're going to be abusing his stun with Comet and do hits in between each Comet so that we can maximize the damage before he wants to teleport. Because he wants to teleport the whole time, but we prevent him from doing it. End the Comet right here to get extra damage in. Try to get him into the center of the Comet so that he can not break out of it. Go into Master Form. And ideally, we defeat him in Master Form because we want to keep our drive gauge.
Ninten kind of canceling out parts of the combo there by using Master Form Blizzard. And there we go, did finish in Master Form. Get access to one of the best combo modifiers in the game, horizontal slash there.
Oh, yeah.
Which just allows you to press square in the middle of a combo to kind of do this side-to-side slicing attack that effectively just lets you get one extra hit in your combo and lets those middle attacks that normally we haven't been talking too much about do significantly more damage.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I believe Ninten is going to do a Master Genie strat here, which... Is this the first
This
time
is the first time we see a Master, yeah.
Oh,
Master
these are
Genie.
so sexy.
Yeah, Genie is actually my favorite summon in the game. And it's because you can do cool stuff like this.
Little genie magnet shuffle.
Yeah. We did Magnet Shuffle with Wisdom Form. We did it with Group Trinity using Ultimate. We've done it with Group Trinity using Major Drive. We've done it with Solo Trinity using Break, effectively.
Yep.
And now with Master Genie.
And
so,
I just want to
very good.
emphasize, Master Genie's attacks, just without the magnet, don't do a whole lot of damage.
No, they really
No.
don't.
Just that magnet is just so powerful with the way we interact with it.
And like with everything else we've been talking about, positioning, spacing are all very important. There's some enemies where you want to put the magnet right on top of them before using Genie, and there's others where you want to put them further away. Now we're getting Valor Genie here as well.
Unfortunately, we got out of the magnet, but we have 1 second.
Yes.
Ooh, that was fast.
Ooh, 1 second
Nice.
too many. Or just enough. I guess you would have died.
Yeah. Little magnet
Die.
shuffle tech with Valor Genie this time, who has the Sonic Rave limit.
This one
Do a
should go
magnet,
better.
2 finishers. And the explosion of the boxes also damaged the Gambler Nobody there.
And importantly, it kind of knocks him out of the magnet again, too.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to skip over this room because it's slow, and there's actually another Heartless here, or nobody here who's going to drop a medallion, and we only need 3 of them.
Ninten's going to throw an Ether so we have full MP for the next fight. Usually after fights, our HP and MP recover, but for some reason, not after this one. So we have to throw that Ether there so we're topped off for the final boss of the world here.
Yeah, these second visits go fast, folks, so be sure to get those donations in. We would still love to try to hit 1 million by the end of this run.
That'd be amazing. And
Still
you're gonna
plenty of
have
time.
An absolutely amazing fight right here. First off, using that Blizzard, trying to use more of those magics in order to just interact with this boss and get all the coins knocked out of him, because you can't actually deal any HP damage until all 882 coins are in the chest. Now we're going to be using Genie canceling. Look at that bottom left corner. That shows you everything you need to know. Ninten is having to do a bunch of intense menuing to constantly cancel the end of his air combos with changing Genie's form to do that over and over and over again and completely skip over that first phase. Now we're going to lock onto him as he's up in the air. You can just get a lock on, pop him 2 times with Thunder, get all the coins knocked out, throw him back in the chest, and get Donald queued up so we can use that devastating Fantasia Comet right here. Spacing those out to where he's keeping him stunned at all times. Oh my God, bullied him. So we're already into the 3rd phase now.
Yes,
Getting up into the corner.
Now he's got to try to keep his party members alive, actually switch Donald out for Goofy just because Goofy had more health, and then pops into Master Form there, which this is the strat that will never change in the entire speedrun.
Make it rain.
Yeah, Master Form using Thunder does this little dancing attack and hits multiple times, which means that the boss not only gets stunned, but also drops a ton of medallions. And Master Form is only good enough right now to will only last long enough to do 1 MP bar's worth of damage, which is exactly what we need.
Each Thunder is 50 medallions, and each cast of Thunder does 3 Thunders in Master Form.
And what a beautiful fight. Like, that was textbook. Everything about that was fantastic.
That, unfortunately, was our last fight with Comet. Very cool limit, but we got something even better now in Flare Force.
The second of the Holy Trinity of limits that we'll be using.
The third.
Or third, the third.
The third, yeah.
Yes.
We count here.
That fight was so impressive. Can we have a little donation here?
Yeah, I think
Oh, please go.
$25 donation from Any. The DPS output is out of this world. I agree. Best of luck, they say. Thank you so much, Any.
Thank you.
Couldn't agree more.
Right here, we'll be changing customize maybe 1 more time, and then put on Duck Flare.
Yeah, specifically taking off Fantasia, so we might not accidentally menu to that instead later on. You're already going down to Flare Force.
This is a point in the game where party members are really not useful at all, so we just set the do not attack, and we just handle everything ourselves.
They can actually mess you up by attacking enemies at this point.
Yeah.
Another good magnet shuffle there. Take about half of the enemy's health out, and then using the finishing part of the Trinity to deal the rest of the damage.
And now we play some golf with children.
Yeah. We're going to get another cool little thing here where Ninten's going to switch party members right at the last second again. Just skips having to do another menu. The menu itself would take maybe 2 seconds tops, but why spend that 2 seconds?
And remember how we manipulated those bulky vendors? We did that so that we would guarantee to spawn here. They give a lot of experience, and we're actually going to EXP boost the second one on the other side by purposely getting hit. Aerial recovery. Stitch is going to keep us alive by stunning those enemies with this ukulele. Finish off this bulky vendor. get to level 28.
Over 3,000 experience just granted by that one because of the XP boosting. And it's important to note that there's an ability called Once More that Ninten has because of grabbing that Dream Shield all the way back at the beginning of the run. That is the only reason Ninten was able to experience boost that, because otherwise the big Jack-in-the-Box enemy would have killed him.
Yeah.
Once More protects you from dying in a single combo, but it will not protect you from a single big hit.
Yep, and the cool thing here, use Reflect, and then use Dance Call to suck them into the Reflect to do a lot of damage. Now, I would try to go for a frame-perfect trick here. Ooh, almost.
Yeah.
So was just trying to stop the Dance Call limit at the same frame that he picked up all of the presents, the last present specifically. Just would have caused a cutscene to effectively finish early.
And now we have a small RNG segment. There's actually a really, there's a lot of luck involved in this present minigame. We want to get big presents to make the number go up faster. We need to hit 100, but sometimes the game can just spawn a bunch of reds.
Early green.
And it's very unlucky.
2 early greens.
2 early greens.
Pretty good.
Good.
3 early greens.
I'd say we could get one very fast donation in here though as well.
Absolutely. I have a $10 donation from I'm Surprised. I can't believe I was tricked by that planned Mickey Death. How heartless of you.
We got 2 people.
I'd love to stay up for the whole run, but I'm out of puns nobody would want to hear. And I just don't have the heart. Good luck, Ninten.
Thank you.
All right, we're heading into one of my personal favorite fights in this speedrun, the experiment fight. This is a great display of that duck flare ability that we just got, the limit combination attack with Donald.
Yeah, so the cool thing about using duck flare and doing our combos with it is that there's a neat mechanic in this game called damage amplification. Basically, whenever we do multiple hit attacks, the next couple hits after the first one would do chip damage, but if we hit them, if something else hits them during the attack, then every single hit does full damage. So we use that here in this fight and get maximum damage by using our multi-hit attacks like Aerial Dive and Aerial Spiral and Horizontal Slash. So we'll be doing 3 duck flares in total here, and you'll see that every single hit is doing a ton of damage mid-duck flare. Grow Ethers.
When you want to kill things quickly, duck flare. Woo!
This is fine.
Yeah, you'll be okay. Nice.
Horizontal slash counting as a finisher to kill off bosses.
Yeah. Absolutely love duck flare there. You can see spamming it 3 times. It uses that whole MP bar every time though, so you got to make sure you throw not just 1 but 2 ethers a lot of the time, since if you are already in that pink MP recharge, the ether will not refill all of your MP. You have to have some left for it to refill the whole thing. Otherwise, it's going to refill a smaller amount.
Do a cool movement here with Wisdom Form. That's why I swapped out Aladdin for Donald here. Got Boki Vendors, so it clears out all the tents for us.
I was hoping for anti. But
you can get anti-form there.
It's optimal. You're faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
Would have been a very small percent, like what, like a 15 or 20% or something like that.
Yeah, it's a very small.
I've gotten in runs a few times.
So now we go into Agrabah 2. This is definitely one of the more restrictive of the second visits you go to, is that Sora doesn't have any other party members with him. He is stuck to the carpet, and that can definitely make these first couple of mob fights very frustrating. Ninten has to do a lot of reacting to wherever the enemies are in that first wave, but then out of that, he can catch the enemies, reflect their retaliation because they angy after they got stuck in that magnet, and then go into a reflect into another magnet to deal massive damage to them.
Yeah, big thing with mob fights like that one, Heartless and Nobody fights. Now that we have Magnet, or even Magnera at this point, if you can have a magnet up when they spawn, they tend to spawn pretty close to Sora. So you will collect them in that magnet, and then they're nice and grouped up, and you can do whatever you need to do in order to try to take them out as quickly as possible. But on the very first spawn, they're already spawned into the arena, so they're going to move around randomly. They're not going to stay near Sora. Or if you ever don't have that magnet up as the enemies spawn, then as soon as they spawn near Sora, they're going to disperse and head all over the place. So these fights are all about making sure that you kill all the first wave of enemies at the same time, and as you have freshly put up a magnet so that you can catch the next wave.
Yeah, trust me, things go really badly as soon as any small thing goes wrong. So we want to get rid of that wave, next wave spawns.
Yes,
See, so this is an example of things going wrong.
that enemy moved away. It didn't get caught in the magnet. Ninten recovered, got the next wave of enemies to spawn in that next magnet, and is able to take care of them.
That was a very quick and smart recovery in there.
Oh, that if one fortune teller doesn't get in the magnet like that, it can easily stagger the next wave as well. And if that Crimson Jazz gets staggered from the fortune teller, you're done.
And that fight's critical because we want to end that fight with around this much MP because we need MP to activate these switches here. Each one takes a different magical element. This one will be thunder, the next blizzard, and the last fire. And if we don't have MP, we either have to waste ethers on them, which we really don't want to do, or wait for our MP to get back.
Ninten's also having to dodge the attacks of the enemies while lining up the various magic to use for the switches.
Yep.
Last one here, probably the scariest, because this Crimson Jazz could one-shot us.
Yeah, but thankfully the switch becomes ready the fastest, so
Yeah,
you can just kind of YOLO it instead of having to dodge around.
I'll get a 41. 42.
That's very nice.
Wow.
Yeah, if you get a 41, then I'd have to quit the run, I think. All right, so this is just a one of the last auto-scrollers here. And we'll be just trying to get experience. It's really important that we hit level 30 during this auto-scroller, but thankfully it's very easy to get every enemy that spawns during this. So we have time for some donations here.
Ninten calling me out, dude. I think it's so hard to get every enemy. But yeah, please go for some donuts.
Absolutely. We have a $10 donation from Late to the Party. Always love seeing Ninten on my screen. You are a gift to the Kingdom Hearts community, and it's awesome to see you at SGDQ. Sending much love from the Pacific Northwest.
Thank you.
We have a donation from Shooty for $5. Hi, Ninten. I woke up just in time. I hope next GDQ we're able to see you speedrun Pooh Baseball. We have a $50 donation to MSF from Violin. Good luck with the run, Ninten. Super proud to see how much the community has optimized this run over the last few years. Everyone watching is in for a good treat.
Hey, shout out to Violin.
Yeah, let's go, Violet.
One of the best Kingdom Hearts 1 runners of all time.
And an up-and-coming KH2 runner, too. Just recently started doing runs.
Time for...
Oh,
Yeah, one more.
Okay.
One
You
more.
didn't kill that enemy, I was going to call you so hard. Go ahead.
I have Dark NES Mist with $25 to Doctors Without Borders. Hey, Ninten, it's been a pleasure getting to watch you crush this game. From grinding PB attempts to labbing fights, there is never a moment I'm not impressed with your technical know-how and execution. Much love from the Kingdom Hearts 2 FM random community. And remember, nothingness is a turtle.
Nothingness is eternal. You'll hear it later on.
Oh, thank you for showing me how to say that.
Yeah, that'll make more sense later. All right, we're heading into the boss, the final boss of this world. Genie Jafar, or just, I guess, Jafar.
And despite the fact that we are restricted to just our combos in the carpet, this is a really cool fight.
Yeah.
And also a very tight fight to get right.
It's really tough, but it's another one of those satisfying ones to get down, because then you can hopefully do it like every time.
Especially with the new aerial sweep strat. Relatively new
Oh,
aerial
yeah,
sweep
I'm
strat.
really excited for this. So we get to use an ability that we never equip, but you have it on the carpet because the carpet has really special properties. It's called Aerial Sweep, and we'll be using that in a moment here. So first we have to defeat Jafar's stomach, which I'll be using the guard break iframes, just like that, to get it down. Then use Aerial Sweep right here. It does a ton of hits. Go into an air combo. Do another air combo to get in damage. So he has a bunch of HP gates, which we mentioned before. The gimmick about HP gates is that you need to do a finisher to get past it, to get into the next phase. So we're in phase 2 now. I need to use the finisher to get to phase 2. And right here, we want to beat the fight by ideally only using one... Oh, actually, this is...
You did the level 1 strat.
Yeah, this would be a little...
Yeah.
Okay, so things are getting a little scary here.
Yeah, so this part, this is the desperation move of this boss. Desperation moves are big, generally stylish attacks where bosses are invulnerable and they try to do a ton of damage to you. They, do this big relentless attack. We're not too worried about dying in this part.
I'm gonna let you know right now, if I don't die, it will be a miracle here.
Yeah.
It will be a miracle.
It is this part that we're afraid of because now Genie
Reflect the
Jafar
stomach.
is
Reflect
going
the
to
stomach.
spawn so many fireballs that Ninten has to reflect and hope it does enough. Oh!
Let's go! Yes.
So
The extra aerial sweep. Oh,
He's not going for the roll up. Oh my God, let's go.
Oh my goodness.
In practice, we were like, yeah, if you get DM, you're just gonna die, right? Like this.
Oh,
Yeah, my heart is pounding from that. That was pretty scary.
That is how like particular every strategy is for every category in this run. Like Ninten did a strategy that is all based around having Hero's Crest equipped so that you have air combo boost on your Keyblade, when it was supposed to be a strategy based around doing ground combos with the combo boost ability on Decisive Pumpkin.
Right.
So it really kind of threw things off there.
And honestly, we arguably got to see something a lot cooler than the regular strat, is a really good runner recovering it and getting out of probably the most dangerous attack in the entire Kingdom Hearts series.
yeah. Genie Jafar's attack right there, I describe as it's a shoot 'em up and you don't have a gun.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
just dodge them up, I guess.
I love this strat.
straight into an action here. We're going to go into Master Form at the beginning. Use a Master Form magnet to get a Dragoons. Proc an attack from the dusk. Do a reflect into a magnet finishing leap. We have Decisive Pumpkin on now, which does extra damage. And then these 3 Dragoons are going to spawn here. We're going to do another magnet shuffle and maybe kill all the Dragoons with it.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
It's looking good.
Oh, where was the money? All right.
Very nice. Very nice.
Nicely done, yeah.
And it doesn't end there because we're heading into the final boss of this world now.
Yeah.
We're going into Zaldan. Gonna pop into Master Form again. That Magnet Shuffle, again, does help refill that drive a ton. So had to do it at the end there in order to get to 4 drive for Master Form.
I will need to get 9 jumps after 1 attack, and this is really hard to mash.
Oh, the full 9.
How do you do that?
So the strat for a long time is to parry that boss so that you can actually get all 9 jumps. But Ninten just walks to the side. I don't get it.
Quick revert into the duck flare with that damage amp. Already down to 1 bar health. Watch it fly.
Love it. So good. If you've played this game, you probably remember Zaldan getting on his like weird dragon attack kind of thing. And he went, the face of despair. Yeah, and then dying and Mickey trying to save you and then dying again.
And Mickey still came back.
Yeah.
3rd time Mickey didn't come back.
And
instead, it's like a 20-second fight.
Yeah. That's going to be a common theme for the rest of the fights in the game here.
Yeah, now we're going to Land of Dragons. The battle level of this world is actually very low. So that means that we do extra damage here because we went here last. That's the main reason why we go here later on.
And it's got the least amount of, I guess, really no useful tools compared to the other worlds, giving you access to greater magnets, flare fours.
I don't even know what you get here.
Yeah, I know one thing you get, which I'll point out.
Thunder.
You do. Thundara pops here.
Yeah.
Go into Limit Form and do Zentican. It does so much damage to Decisive Pumpkin.
Yeah. Yeah, Decisive Pumpkin having that base combo boost.
Oh. Dang.
Ninten, you were,
and now we get Mickey. No, I'm kidding.
I think you were doing the level 1 strat there.
Yes,
too.
I was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to give a massive shout to Ninten that he was practicing both critical any percent and level 1, which are vastly different categories.
Also have completely different menus, and Ninten is just doing it all from memory. Like, unbelievable.
Yep, so Sonic Blade is a much safer strat here. You get extra damage. You also get level 2 limit, which I mentioned before, I really want to hit. We don't have drive, which is unfortunate. I actually get it back here.
Yeah, so Master Form and Limit Form are kind of more powerful, at least according to the game, and they cost 4 drive gauges instead of 3 to use.
Yeah.
So thankfully, if you get to 3, you can use a summon or some other drive form in order to help refill your drive. And in this case, we want to use Wisdom Form for movement anyways. But if you then need to, you can either leave the world or go into a room where your party members aren't around to get all of your drive back. So we always, pretty much any time that we're refilling drive, we want to get at least past 3, but sometimes we want to get to 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Some
Hey, Bulky
wisdom.
Bender.
Oh yeah, Bulky's here.
Yeah.
More wisdom for
Hi,
movement
Bulky
to go
Bender.
a bit faster. Entering the courtyard fight. This is a fight that actually became a lot more consistent recently because we used to just do a magnet ultimate right off the bat, but now we jump over here because we learned that this makes it much more consistent to defeat the entire mob here.
I want to remind you all, the first part of that trinity does not do damage.
No.
And yet 2 enemies completely died
Yeah.
because of the magnet shuffle. So it's just so strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how a piece of tech comes out of, here's 2 instances of this does very little damage, this does no damage. But if you swipe them together, all of a sudden, absolute buzzsaw to the health bars. One more mob fight here, go for it.
Yeah, another cool fight here with the snipers. Ninten's immediately going to go into a vicinity break to get aggro on all the enemies, reflect twice in a magnet, kill off this first wave pretty quickly. Do the same thing here. Reflect them immediately because they have a hitbox when they spawn. Magnet, Donald, Duck Flare. Donald, I was saying that.
Love it.
Duck Flare to end the fight.
There's a lot of situations from this point onwards where you'll see a Duck Flare happen, and it's just because we need just a little bit of extra damage to help a fight end, and you might as well use the Duck Flare because it comes out so fast and immediately starts doing damage.
And here we'll use Duck Flare to do full damage.
Yes.
Just 2 hits before he uses the RC to hang on.
Yeah.
Then gonna basically immediately go into a Duck Flare. Go for it.
Yeah, so now we're going to use Duck Flare right here, get a lot of damage, and we want to hit his next phase because we want him to go into his bashing commands, do as much damage as we can. Just that's good enough right there. We'll go ahead and summon Stitch and hope that he can lick me to restore my MP here.
Come on.
If not, we'll throw an ether.
Come on. Shit, he's not gonna do it.
Oh, he's doing it.
I
He barely did it, yeah.
Yo, best boy.
All right, now we're going to push him down to make sure that we can use Duck Flare. And this Duck Flare, along with Damage Amp, should be enough damage to take care of him before he gets back up.
And again, as Spike's mentioned in previous instances of that Duck Flare, the timing of pressing triangle for those extra bursts, very important.
Yeah.
So now we're in what we like to dub the end game portion of the run. We only got 2 worlds, 1 mini world, 1 boss rush world, and then final fights. So we're coming towards the end here. Very fast run.
Yeah, it gets a lot faster when the 7 gummy missions you have to do. Because I think that made up anywhere between 20 and 25 minutes
About
of the
30
run.
It was close to 30, yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. This would be our final gummy mission here,
The
but
only-
instead we get to save 4
The only
minutes.
bad
or
part is it took away our bathroom breaks.
yes, that is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, there is a certain amount. I always remember getting to those second visits of Disney Worlds where those don't have gummy missions at all tied to them.
Yeah.
And it felt like, whoo, this is a lot all of a sudden back to back to back to back. So I can't imagine for everybody who's been doing runs on this, the feeling of, oh yeah, that's the whole run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just 2.5 hours of go, 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 go.
Also, if you're ever wondering why we didn't go to Pride Lands, we don't have to. That's pretty much all you need to know. If you want to see Pride Lands, tune into twitch.tv/Ninten
For any random.
yeah, for basically any random.
basically just tune into the first 5 minutes of any rando.
Yeah.
Lands.
So I want to point out that we got the secret 4th part of the Holy Trinity of limits, which is Whirligoof, which is one of my favorite limits in the entire game. We'll be using it twice.
That's what you
I
get
didn't
for
know-
Melody too.
I didn't know
Yes.
if you were still going to use it or not on Crit End.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
it's
Okay, nice.
still really good.
But before that, we're going into this fight. We call it the Mickey fight because Mickey helps us out. Although we actually don't want him to do anything because he ruins the Magnet Shuffle with Master Genie.
And this is so cool. I love the way this fight works because it's so weird. You have to like make sure that you're not targeting any enemies, even with that little orange auto target thing. Then pop a magnet so that you know it goes straight above yourself. Then using the limit from Master Genie, it pulls all the enemies into the magnet, which not only does a ton of damage from the magnet shuffle, it also refills that summon gauge. Look in the bottom right corner. See how high that gauge is going? It is just so powerful. And then these enemies, for some reason, you want to get right up on top of them, right above them, instead of further away from them. It's so particular, and it's just
Good
fantastic.
fight. Good fight. Good fight.
I can't believe Mickey is messing with your strats. I have a Mickey dono, if that's okay.
Go
Yep.
for it.
$50 from Equations 19. Say, fellas.
Let's go.
Did somebody mention the door to darkness? Good luck on the run, Ninten, and loving the commentary as always.
This is a real line in this video game. Can y'all believe that happened? Can you believe Disney let that happen?
So coming up here is the first fight where we'll be using Whirligoof. We're actually going to use it with the Magnet Shuffle, but it'll do extra damage to everything here. And this fight is also going to be really scary because there's a few ways to get one shot after this first fight here. So in this, we're going to do lock on and then press triangle right away, like this, to line it up, and then do Whirligoof.
So good.
Nice.
I love that limit.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I always call those buzz saws, and that's like a literal buzz saw working on it.
Just spinning.
So now we got the axe fight. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so now we're going to attack the ducks, and they'll retaliate by attacking Axel. Their main focus is Axel, so we have to move towards Axel. And Axel is actually very annoying here because the attacks that he does can actually ruin our magnets by separating all the enemies from it.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into limit form and then revert just to get the MP refill right there. We want to reflex because whenever the assassins come out of the magnet, they actually go straight into an attack. but they can also do a explosion, which one-shots us, so we can't let that happen. And this is actually a good fight.
Nice, that was good.
Nice.
That fight can go like even faster if you get lucky and Axel uses one specific attack over and over again. He did it once in the entire fight.
Yeah.
That is still a fight that you should be more than happy to see, though.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Perfect fight.
All right, so now we are going into the final boss rush, world, effectively, the world that never was. This is a lot of runners' favorite world, I think, because of all of the intricacies of these fights. And for Ninten, we're going to help him out here on all these because there's a lot of focus.
Yes.
This first one is Roxas. Ninten's going to be doing a strat called Fast and Furious. So we're going to start by reflecting the boss, making sure that we get all that damage, and then doing a specific set of combos so that the boss retaliates right there with a ground combo, do 2 reflects into either getting hit or doing a jump and doing an aerial reflect. Now going to kind of repeat the same kind of thing, using a blizzard into those reflects there, going into limit form in order to refill all the MP, deal some extra damage. Gonna get another Zantetsuken, then parry the boss with the iframes of an Ars Arcanum to deal more damage as well. Another Zantetsuken into revert, pop that ether, use more reflects here, and then going to quickly go into what's likely gonna be a magnet into Trinity after another reflect. And that is going to finish off the boss.
Absolutely gorgeous, because you look at that drive gauge down there in the bottom right. He was able to go from about 1 bar all the way up to over 3 bars. We want over 3 because coming up now, we've been talking about the whole run, trying to avoid anti-form the entire run until this exact moment right here. We're going to equip that new Keyblade we just got, the 2 becomes 1. It forces either anti-form or final form, and we actually want to see anti-form ideally right here. So we're going to get into a fight, which you can tell from the bottom left once the command menu switches into combat mode, and then pop into wisdom. So because of that Keyblade, bam, there's anti-form. The reason why we're going to do this, between this and the next year, we're going to do it 2 times, and that should hopefully drop our anti-points all the way down, because we will have seen it twice, to where we will safely never see it again throughout the entire
Watch the bottom right here. From 0 to 4 bars. And then after this Trinity ends, needs to quickly get into another drive form to get that anti-form, dropping all those points. And now anti-form, like you said, Spike, never going to show up for the rest of the run.
Because, fun fact, it actually has a multiplier to show up on the organization fights. I think it's a 50% multiplier. So
it's something massive. It's like 4 times or something.
If you have 10 anti-points, which is basically the cap of like the limit of it, you are going to get anti-form on it.
Yeah, 100%. So now we go into the Xigbar fight. Again, this is a big boss rush we got here at the end. Ninten reapplying the Hero's Crest Keyblade, because our strength stat doesn't matter much. We want the air combo boost off of it, because Xigbar is going to be chilling up in the air the entire time. Let's do air combos. We're going to give him these first 3 sets of lasers to particularly manipulate how he's going to react to this duck flare, because again, woo, this is how you kill things quickly. Going into a very specific combo right here to not over flinch him to where he's not going to retaliate in a bad way. So trying to pump all that damage, we ideally want to see 2.8 bars before we make a big move. Valor Form filling in for some damage right here, and more importantly, refilling that MP bar. Let's go for another duck flare, and if Ninten can get those perfect damage amps and not over flinch him, he can send him all the way from 100% health all the way to the end. Let's go, baby.
Real quick, Ninten, did you get the elixir?
I did, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
All right.
we're going to need that
Yes.
for a fight later on.
Back to 3 drive, we're going to use some wisdom form for movement here to get to the next fight.
And it's going to help refill that drive, because we're going to enter another room where your party members are walking around. They're not in your party.
Right.
One thing to note is that we're actually doing like really pretty low damage because this world is like the last world of the game, and we haven't really fought anything other than the small Grandy segments. So this part is like particularly difficult to get through.
We're pretty much at minimum damage. Like you are, I think, just over in one of your stats.
You can just get over if you are in Valor form at the end of the game, because you have all the Keyblades.
Which makes it interesting, because your level 1 does the same damage as crit does in this world.
Yeah, it's incredible. And now, Thar, this is one of your favorite fights.
Yes, this is probably the hardest fight in the game to learn and master. Instead of health bars, we got those time gauges at the top. That's how we're going to kill Luxord. For Sora, it's irrelevant. First, we got to get out of this die form. We're going to go into do a little ground combo on Luxord. Make him spawn some cards. Do what we call Reflect, Slapshot, Reflect, an RSR. Basically, we got Slapshot off the Axel fight. It's a quick little attack that we can fit in between 2 reflects. So we get 2 reflects worth of damage on Luxord, lots of damage, and we can quickly push him into this next phase, where we're hoping to see these mini games here, which we can reflect on him, and then quickly hit his RB, so he goes into another attack, hopefully mini game. He's jumping, that's fine. Ninten reacts. I think he's gonna do a little magnet combo. Yep, so that keeps all the cards around. Quickly reflect another mini game, and we're just hoping to see this for the rest of the fight.
That card staying alive is a little dangerous, so Ninten's gonna have to pay attention to that.
All right, this is fine. Luxord's going underground.
Yeah, so hopefully try to avoid this because you can't hurt him during that, but it's a pretty small time loss if you do end up getting it, so it's not a big deal. But cards are really unlucky. It's pretty much just like a 50-50 if he does cards or not, and not much you can do about it. You just have to react accordingly.
Ninten smartly using that that reflect there because he knew a card was just about to attack.
Eat tech here, you can reflect into the card.
I never knew that.
Okay.
Yeah, basically I activated the fire card after I had reflected, which give me the reflect damage off.
A quick RSR there on the minigame is a fun little thing you can do if you have a card alive and attacking you. But now we're going to push Luxord into his DM health threshold. Cool thing about Luxord is when he's DM'd, he cannot retaliate when he's grounded. So we're going to keep Luxord grounded in one super long limit form combo here. Basically skip his final DM and end the fight.
Is this gonna be enough damage?
All right. Ninten, you can just do a couple attacks here.
Uh-oh.
And this one...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay. So funny thing is that this exact thing happened in my last 3DK run. So I think it's just a cursed fight.
Luxord is, like you say, one of the hardest, if not the hardest fights in the whole
yeah.
world.
Here's one of the other things about this fight is that it changed when the jump from 30 FPS to 60 FPS in a way that pretty much just affects speedrunners.
Yeah.
The card attack that we keep saying we don't really want to see, we'd rather see minigame over and over, not as much the cards. That card attack used to have all the cards that spawn jump and like follow Luxord. And it was generally exactly what you wanted because if they're coming towards you, you can reflect them reliably. The jump to 60 FPS, for some reason, made it unreliable. Sometimes they'll follow Luxord and thus follow you. Other times they won't, like they just didn't right there. So you then have to react to which one they do, which is one of the things that makes this fight so much more difficult. In fact, newer runners of this game, if you're on PC, set your FPS to 30. Just do it every time, like for a long time. It'll be way more consistent for you.
Yeah, instead it's a lot more like reactionary that Ninten has to play this fight because it's going to be different every single time he does it. Ideally, he just does the minigame every single time. Other times you're going to see, like tonight, he's getting a little bit hosed, seeing cards over and over and over and over again.
That card just knocked him away, did not let him catch Luxord, so he was able to go underground, do his little find me minigame. The other thing about this fight that makes it hard is the terrain. Like you see there's this slope terrain, and ideally, we don't want Luxord to retaliate in the air because that will guarantee a jump and he'll instantly go underground. So the
go for it again here.
Okay, yeah. With the Ether, this should be good on damage. So as Spike mentioned a long time ago, if you use Ars Arcanum, this attack right here with all the rapid slashes from KH1, and you don't use the very last attack of it, that finish command, it will not apply revenge value from that entire attack. So you get a bunch of hits without prompting retaliation from the boss.
Yeah.
And the other kind of nice thing about the death is that Ninten was able to finish in limit form, so he gets all his drive back here instead of having to build it back.
Yeah, it just goes to show how difficult this entire speedrun is because you get through the entire, the first 2 hours of the run and then you get to the hardest part of the game, the boss gauntlet, and one death is just running over.
Yeah, minutes lost.
Yeah.
Syx, another cool boss here. I know Ninten likes to talk about this one.
Yeah, so we're going to quick run here to get Donald in the correct position to not die to that hit right there. Now we're going to make sure Donald doesn't get hit at all because we need him to be alive for Wisdom Form and Duck Flare. We'll also preset it because we have to go into Wisdom Form very quickly here. Use a magnet to get a retaliation here. Go into this and use Aerial Spiral 6 times for damage amplification. Go into a very quick combo. Go into Wisdom Form.
That's so good.
Expects to get hit there, by the way.
Get Syx away from that Claymore because if he's too close, that Duck Flare will split the damage between Syx and the Claymore.
That built-up drive and built up a ton of damage.
Donald.
Unfortunately, Donald died, so he couldn't go into a second Duck Flare there.
It's pretty easy to get out of this phase, though.
Yeah, so in this fight, he just does a few attacks, use a Claymore again. Now we can potion Donald.
So you can go for the reflect to be safe, potion Donald, so now you can use that duck flare limit again, and there we go, finished off the fight.
Yep, that's an unfortunate part of running crit in level 1 is Donald can die very easily, and sometimes it's out of your control.
Yeah, like Ninten did pretty much everything he could there to keep Donald at full health for as long as possible, and then once Sykes is dashing around, it's like, well, you gotta hope Donald doesn't run into the path of the Claymore, and that's about all you can do. If you have enough time, you can maybe throw a potion when you see him get lower, but sometimes it's just he's gonna get hit very late.
So we're about to head up to Xemnas. He is the final thing standing between us and victory. Let's try to get in one more quick donation as we're running up the ramp.
For sure, we have a $50 donation from Bryce and Robot. For anyone still confused about the story of Kingdom Hearts, it is simply thus. My friends are my power. When friends come together, they can do amazing things, like share techniques to beat games in ridiculous time, raise incredible amounts of money for charity, or even explain the story of Kingdom Hearts Lesson 3.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that donation.
Not going for building lists, I'm so disappointed.
So I think, Thar, you want to explain this fight?
Oh yeah, this is our first time fighting Xemnas here, and we're gonna do a cool little cinematic running up the building, and there's gonna be a set of 3 reaction commands here. We wanna wait till the very last one, because that's gonna do maximum damage to Xemnas and put him in position for us to begin the fight. Name of the game is keep him off this ramp and those stairs at the bottom there. So Sora's gonna land first, Ninten's gonna jump and do an air combo on Xemnas to put him into the middle of the arena, away from these stairs, where we will really get messed up if he's there. And basically do a set of 3 reflect, slapshot, reflect combos on Xemnas here, because he's guaranteed to do this attack when you're standing right next to him. Now Xemnas should be in his second phase here, where he's gonna start teleporting around and give us one of 3 different attacks. The short attack, there's one where you can summon a shield, which, nope, here's the long attack. This is actually ideal to see right here, because it lets us get in the most amount of damage possible on Xemnas, and we're gonna try to end this fight in one long...
Yeah.
Going towards the stairs, it's not good.
I think you're good. You're good.
Okay.
You got him. Yes. Nice. It was like so critical that Ninten ended that in limit form once committing to it, because otherwise it would not have any drive coming out of this fight, or it would have 1 drive gauge, I guess, coming out of this fight, and that like you really need drive for this next section.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, drive management is so important throughout this entire run.
Yeah.
There's one thing that can refill your drive, really, one item pickup in the entire run, and Ninten just doesn't even get it.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing to mention is that we're only down to 1 potion now, which is all that we need, as long as nothing bad happens.
Riku's pretty much a nurse at this point.
Yes, he is.
They keep your party alive.
That's true. Riku has some potions on him to begin with, has some ethers, because I don't think he took them, right?
No, yeah, he's got ethers too.
And then he also has a healing spell, or his healing ability, that costs 99 MP, not 100, which means he can actually use it twice per MP bar.
Yeah.
Yep, so cutting through the buildings here, we're going in. This is the final boss rush, so if you go in here, you can't return to any other part of the game. We're gonna get through the core here with magnets, just have to knock everything into the cylinders. I want Riku to refill my magic after I use 3 magnets, because the 4th magnet will put me into MP recharge. So Riku doesn't usually do it when he's attacking, but when he's done, he should, hopefully.
There you go. Good.
Thanks, Brett.
Do the same thing for the cylinder right here.
Ninten presetting his menus to places we want to be for the next fight here.
One convenient thing about just how any percent happens to route out is the only magic that you get all 3 instances of is actually Magnet. So we have a full-on Magnega, which is big drawing in all enemies around you, if they exist anywhere, which is particularly useful also going into this next fight right here.
Yep, so here I'll be falling a little bit. It's really precise where I time the magnet here, because I want to do as much damage as I can to the enemies inside of it. Just like this, do a Thunder to finish it out in Master Form. Then we're going to do a Magnet into another Magnet and use Whirly Goof one last time to clear the rest of the wave here. Just like that.
So good. Back up to 3 drive again, so you can summon Genie.
Yep, and then Genie, we're going to do some more Genie canceling. This one's harder because you have to swap over to Master Form mid Genie cancel. Do a very precise Magnet again right here.
Intentional hit, by the way.
Yes. Now target swap over to this Assassin, use a Magnet, move over closer to the core, do another Magnet Ultima with a Magnet Shuffle. Now, this Trinity limit is going to do damage to the Creeper, and then it will do damage to the core afterwards right here.
So good.
Go into Valor form. As Spike mentioned, we're doing extra damage in Valor form.
Ninten also put the Oblivion Keyblade on Valor form just to help us get over that threshold.
And now trying to build back up to 3 drives so that he can go into Valor form again for another MP refill to not have to throw 2 ethers, because he's pretty limited on ethers at this point.
This fight's pretty hard.
Canadian Sora.
Starts in Valor form, gonna have to revert and then go straight into attacking the boss. And then the elixir that we got earlier is for this fight here. He's going to try to keep Donald alive, use a Duck Flare and an elixir right before it so that it lands right after using the Duck Flare. That's gonna refill his MP bar completely. Then he can ideally use another Duck Flare and get a little bit of extra reflect damage first.
Thankfully, Donald stayed alive.
Yes.
He is literally at 1 HP right now.
That was so good. Armored Xemnas 1 is like, I cannot express to you how difficult it is to do that strategy because you have to continue a combo. So like start a combo and keep it going while also throwing an elixir and Duck Flare in the middle of it. Like, that is not something you do. that is just hard. You usually would do any of those things in between combos, but you have to do it in the middle of the combo there.
Yeah, this fight's really interesting because we get to do a thing called finisher canceling, where if we use Riku's attacks in between our finishers, it lets us keep our finishing plus. So we can do infinite finishers, which is good because the finishers knock all of the enemies over towards the enemies. It is difficult to do though, because as you can see, I have to claw the controller and hit X and square or circle and X, depending on if I have to drain the attacks coming at me or not. You can also die here very easily.
This is a fight you cannot heal on, so it's incredibly dangerous, incredibly heartbreaking when you die in a run. I have lost a few runs to dying in this fight.
Oh no.
And this is the same principle that the genie canceling operates under, where you can do extra horizontal slashes. But with that, basically Ninten's just going to be trying to survive, defeat each piece of Dragon's Xemnas as quickly as possible. So this is going to be probably one of our last chances for donations.
Sounds great. We have a $25 donation to MSF from Patsikin. Say, fellas, did somebody mention the Doctors Without Borders? I am so willing to do any voices that y'all want. I have a $100 donation from Archie23. Ninten's ability to recover from any circumstance is wild. You're the best, brother. Doctors Without Borders is one of the best causes you can donate to. Please help if you can. Time for another one?
Yep.
Yeah. Until you see Blue Eyes White Dragon off your screen, you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
We have a $250 donation. Woo! From Barbados Slim 5 Limb. I'll keep it simple and clean and say the Kingdom Hearts franchise was a sanctuary for me and my brother growing up. That said, I still don't understand the full lore.
And my brother growing up. Just add that in at the end there.
We have a $25 donation from Viking Viking. Longtime watcher, first time donator here. Had to donate during the best game ever created. Kingdom Hearts will always have a special place in my life. And with Jhobz, Spike, and Ninten, this can only get amazing. Greetings from Germany.
Awesome. That'll take us to the end of this fight.
Yeah, so one thing to mention is I got hit twice there in sections that are pretty luck-based if you get hit or not, which is fine because we can tank them, but now going into this fight, we keep our health. So I'm going to hope that Riku can throw a potion, ideally not use his magic because we can do some cool stuff with it. He did use the magic though, which is fine. We just have to take a little bit of a slower first phase here. That blade one-shots, so we cannot get hit by that. And the barrier almost one-shots.
I mean, technically the blade has multiple hitboxes, but...
True.
Nothingness is a turtle. So this is a 3-phase fight, effectively. Used to actually be 4 phases back in the PS2 KH2 English days. Yeah.
Did it?
It did.
It was.
They combined the first 2. That's why you do so much damage in the first phase here. Because now here for the other 2 phases, it's just going to be a bar and a half apiece. And again, love that usage of Combo Master there, reflecting that lance attack and then dragging it with the slide dash to where the splash damage from the reflect also hits.
Yeah, because Combo Master allows you to continue a combo even if your attacks do not connect with the enemy, whereas normally you need to connect those attacks.
Ninten went for something here called what we call fast building. when you just saw Sora tweaking all over the screen just there, that was Ninten spamming the aerial dodge to get as much height as possible.
Yeah, you actually get all of your growth abilities, all the ones you would get from the drive forms in this fight, whether you've unlocked them or not. So that's why he's gliding, it's how he's using aerial dodge, and he could even dodge roll if he wanted to. But gonna try to make sure that he's at full MP at the end of this fight, or at least close to it. And that should be good, so.
All right, heading into the final fight here.
Yes.
This actually has one of the coolest threats in the game. We call it Dancing with the Devil, because we're gonna be using reaction commands and staying on the ground when you're supposed to be flying up in the air during the sequence. And we'll be using well-timed reflex and a well-timed combo to get extra damage in. Right here is the difficult combo. Reflect finisher, use a reversal, get into another reflex.
And only some Xemnases, there's like him and a clone, only one of them takes damage, so knowing exactly when to do each reflex so that it lands its damage on the one that can actually take it.
Nice, and what we're looking for here is trying to get him basically right above 4 bars of health, because once he, ooh,
Good audible.
golly.
So I know how to recover this, it's fine. We're gonna wait for him to appear right next to us, which will take a little bit here. Ars Arcanum.
Interrupted an attack that Xemnas generally would do there.
Now we're gonna go back to doing Dancing with the Devil here.
When that health bar gets just under 1, about like 80% of 1 bar left, the game's over.
And that's it.
That should push.
Very
Let's
nice.
go.
Oh, you don't have enough drive for the for like a swag form
yeah.
or something.
All right, that is basically the end of the run. There's a minute and a half here, and then time is when I hit Final Xemnas. So I want to take this time to give a huge shout out to the KH community. Big shout out to my couch, Spike, Jhobz, and Thar C1. Shout outs to my girlfriend, Haru. And for anyone wanting to learn this run, it would be really awesome if we got new runners. So head over to speedrun.com/KH2, I believe, and go to the resources or guides tab. I actually made a Google document that has a list of everything you need to get started. I think this is the best time to get into the game because of Gummy Skip. It makes the run so much better paced for new runners. And I think that's probably about it. Anything you guys want to say?
Thanks for letting us do this again. I always love commentating this game. It's so impressive to watch you play it. And big shout outs to all of the people who helped push this further, like Ninten, Insert Logic, VG Master, so many people, too many to name.
I mean, I just want to give a special shout out to all the modders out there, Detonator, Sonic Shadow Silver, for basically making the Gummy Skip mod and all the other mods that make practicing and running this game a lot more accessible.
And if you want to watch more Kingdom Hearts content, I do a lot of it on twitch.tv/Ninten.
Get ready on time.
Ending right here.
And
time.
Woo!
Really happy with that. It was a good run.
yeah, very good.
I'm glad that I was able to show it off. Thank you so much, UDQ, for having me, and I'll hand it over.
See y'all next time.
See ya.